Welcome back to Icons. It's time to break down our last match of the quarterfinals. We've got Team Flash with their roster right on here as they are taking on JD Gaming. And Team Flash, you know, this is the #1 seed from the WCS, the champion of the region. We heard big words from Zissou saying earlier, undoubtedly going to vanquish you. These are strong words here.
Yeah, there's a lot of, again, vanquish. That means we're going to destroy 3-0 them, is my imagination.
And as we take a look on the opposite side, JDG, this is a roster, this is the #2 team here, but they look good here, Omo.
Yeah, I was just looking at the Team Flash roster. I was thinking, how stacked is that roster, man? And then you come over to JDG, you see Lemon, Singdo, Jojo, Doki. It's just, what a stacked game we're going to have coming up.
Very much so. There are so many head-to-head matchups we need to talk about. In fact, there's 3. Riku, start us off.
Okay, for me, it has to be the jungle matchup, right? Singdo and Zissou are going to be the primary players to look at because Singdo has been always on Jax, always on Kha'Zix, making sure that he farms up the Storm, and the next fight, mainly Rift Heralds, Dragons, he just destroys everyone. And I think that's the scary part. How does Zissou match that? How do they shut him down before he becomes a crazy monster?
Yeah, there's a look at some of the stats from both these guys. They get about the same amount of gold, aka resources put into them within the game, but the damage slightly different, a little bit more from Xingdu, but we know that he's been so much more dominant in terms of KDA.
Yeah, and honestly, the kill participation as well. Frankly, Zissou has been such a shining star for Team Flash in the WCS, but come Icons, it seems like they might have been figured out by Nova ever since he faced Long. He hasn't quite looked the same. So JDG, can they just repeat what Nova did to Team Flash, or is Zissou back to form here?
All right, well, if it's not there in the jungle, Omo, where's your focus?
Well, I'm looking at the Baron lane. I'm looking at Lemon against Shy. I feel like both of these guys have such amazing mechanics, such deep champion pools, and willingness to play unorthodox carry champions up there in the Baron lane. And I think this is going to make for a very explosive matchup. Look at Shy's damage per minute.
And that makes so much sense because most of the time we get to see top and jungle focus, especially early game, where you set that up, big 1v1, burn a flash, chunk them down, prep the dive for the jungler. So I could see definitely Lemon and Shy are going to play a huge part in this match.
Yeah, again, a lot of focus there on the Baron side of the map. You saw the junglers, they're both very good. They both clean up kills, but the damage and the playmaking done from this Baron side of the map, something that we haven't seen necessarily a lot of. We thought we were going to get a little bit more out of Dawn, but we saw J-Team's focus was going to be down on the bottom side of the map, so maybe we'll get a little bit more of it here in this matchup with Flash versus JDG. For me, instead of looking to where the strengths have been, I kind of look where strength for one and maybe a little bit of lacking for the other, and that's Doki versus Empty at the support role, because Doki has been one of the best playmaking supports here in the tournament. I would say Nomel is along that list with Ralster Y, who went out in the yesterday in their quarterfinal matchup, but Doki has been right place, right time, showing up at the right spot, and has looked very, very good, whereas Empty hasn't been a focal point for his squad. We haven't said Ellie's name as much, and I think a lot of that has to do with how well your synergy with your support is. So looking to see a little bit more, as we said, Empty on full. We want fully, not empty here for them. So we'll get to see. You don't like that one?
It was more of mixed pain and wow, you know, like,
Thank you very much, Riku. All right, prediction time. So you kind of alluded to it earlier. You're not going with the WCS squad?
Oh! No! Oh!
Okay, Digon.
Okay. I know you're a big fan.
I'm a big fan of RRQ. Yeah,
I totally understand.
I definitely went with JDG on this one. So yeah, I know that one says RRQ. That one's wrong on the screen there. So did you have Flash or do you have?
Yeah, Team Flash. I have Team Flash just because I know this series they're gonna play the WCS style. They're gonna activate Coyote super duper early. Just basically keep bothering Singdo in his jungle, not make him farm at all. He's going to be very sad and upset, and I think that's the key for Team Flash to win these series.
I went Team Flash as well. I think it's going to be a 3-2, but I have a very big caveat. This is if Team Flash goes back to how they played in the WCS. This is not Icon's Team Flash. Icon's Team Flash is going to get trioed right now. If it's WCS Team Flash, I think we see a 5-game series, and I think Flash take it.
All right, well, our experts on the desk have spoken, but let's send it on over to our experts in the casting area, and it's time to bring on a new team, the Twin Duo. You guys look pretty snazzy, looking pretty similar. Rafa and TJ, y'all, take it away.
Thank you so much, Dagon. And not only we're looking snazzy,
Oh,
but
dude, we're wearing the same color.
TJ, we planned this.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you know what? What we did plan is the fact that we finally got TJ back in the studio. It's good to have you here, buddy.
Yeah, you might have seen my social media post yesterday or noticed the presence of Analyst Dagon. I did have the sniffles, but I've been tested 3 times over a 4-day period, and I did come up negative for COVID-19 on all of that. We're taking things very seriously. Riot are keeping us very safe. We're all wearing masks and getting tested frequently. So, very safe. We're not just winging it here.
TJ won't even let me give him a hug.
That's true, but that's actually not to do with the pandemic.
Oh.
I'm very excited for Team Flash. Omo, Rinku, on the same team as me. They're coming out swinging here, and I do believe they're going to be the first team to take a game off of the WRL.
Well, they are the last team from the WCS, so it's here.
We got to get one, man.
It's now or never for the WCS region representing Southeast Asia. But when you look at Jingdong Gaming, this is a team.
I'm looking at him right now.
You are, in fact. They're getting right on the stage. They're assuming battle stances right now.
Yes. I'm really excited to see them. Like you were about to say, I think, they are one of the best teams from the WRL. And they are, I think, the perfect team to challenge Team Flash here. The problem we saw with Team Flash when they went up against Nova Esports was, I don't know where Team Flash went. All of a sudden, they were respectful, nice boys who sat on their own side of the jungle and never towed the line over the river. That is not the Team Flash that wins games. That is not the Team Flash that was the terror, the undefeated terror of the WCS, the SEA Super Region. So we want to see a return to form from Team Flash. And if they do, they will be more than enough team to challenge JDG. If they don't, it could be a quick day.
And JDG are no strangers of being upset by non-favorite teams in the past. We saw in the play-in stages. RRQ were able to take a game off of them. Team Flash, you got to do more than take just one game off of JDG. You got to take off 3 games.
Worth mentioning, of course, Team Flash, a Vietnamese organization, or a Vietnamese team. We've seen 2 Vietnamese teams in the history of Wild Rift Esports. One of them was SBTC, similarly hyped, went to the Horizon Cup and fell apart, had to make some roster substitutions, didn't look their true selves. Team Flash also haven't looked their true selves, though they don't have a roster substitution to blame for it. So I want to see some returns to form for the Vietnamese region. This roster does have literal world champions on it in other mobile games. Vietnam known for producing killer mobile esports teams. They should be real competitors here. And so far, the Team Flash we've seen internationally has not delivered.
The execution that we have come to know from Team Flash throughout the WCS, it was not seen in their series against Nova Esports and needs to return.
Dude, first ban Ash.
Dude, Coyote's Ash slaps, man.
It does, and I love this. I remember talking to Leonard, who I'm going to specifically call out here on our podcast, and I was like, Leonard, I think Ash is really good. And he was like, no, you're crazy, TJ. And I was right. First ban for JDG. The Ash getting banned down. Of course, it is one of Coyote's power picks. Coyote you can look to be this cross-map presence. They love picks like Ash that allow him to be constantly available for any team fight anywhere on the map, do real damage. And that is why it has to be taken away. Similarly, the Lee Sin, one of Zisu's favorite picks, and perhaps a patch to what we've been missing from Zisu, that aggression.
Yeah.
Lee Sin kind of forces you to play the way we want to see Zisu play, and so JDG removed that power pick from his pool.
When you go back to year 0, a lot of the Vietnamese junglers at the time made a name for themselves as some of the best Lee Sin play in the world. But when Team Flash, after banning the Singed, JDG look at the available champions and see, okay, what can we grab here? Karma is the first pick.
Karma, one of the most powerful champions in the pool right now, can be played either mid or support, though I do vastly prefer the support role, and will scale into the late game. If your Karma's online in the late game, she's going to make all your champions faster, have more HP, and if you built Art and Sensor, be significantly deadlier. So, incredibly powerful pick, has been almost 100% pick ban at Icons.
Combining that power with the Kha'Zix, who can finish off targets once the initial burst from the Transcendent Embrace and the added Ziggs in Mega Inferno Bomb. It's already a powerful core that we have seen time and time again throughout Icons. Team Flash, on the other hand, they're going for scaling power for Zissou on the Jax, and it's already a departure away from what you would expect and want from Team Flash traditionally, unless they are going to use the Shen and Jace to invade.
That is the unless. The thing we have seen about Jax over the course of his tenure here at this tournament is, yeah, he's a late game scaling jungle. Absolutely. Zissou is not going to do real damage until the late game, at which point he's going to do real damage.
Yeah.
However, you can use Jax during the early game. This is how teams are accelerating Jax to that late game, by showing Jax in lanes, in jungle invades early, and using him as a stun bot. He can jump into the front lines, land big stuns, and then other members convert the kills, thus giving Jax an early gold injection, team fighting early around a late game scaling champion.
It's honestly a kind of recall to form of what we saw from Dakun Gaming back at Horizon Cup when Hueva on the international stage for the first time showed us, yeah, I got a Jax, but I'm still going to invade you, level 3.
Absolutely. So the big challenge here is, do we see Zissou playing in that way? Do we see the Jax getting in early? And as you called out, they do have a critical tool to enable that, the Shen, kind of providing that massive shielding to anyone, anywhere on the map. With Shen Galio, this is the perfect composition for somebody like Team Flash who wants to play super aggressive. They have a double global ultimate. They can instantly have a 3v5 anywhere on the map because 2 additional members can jump in, join the team fight.
I like this. I talked to Mika about it before. Anytime I see 2 global ults on the stage, I call that the Avengers comp. Because as soon as someone's in trouble,
right, the portals start opening.
Boom!
The portals start opening.
The reinforcements come
starts
in.
Playing.
That's right.
Whole team's there. One thing I will flag here is I don't much like Jace. I think Jace has really struggled. We saw some really bad Jace play yesterday.
It's hard.
It's hard. If Jace doesn't get an early gold lead and start snowballing, he does not do enough damage in the early and late game to be relevant. The only exception to that is if you're landing every single shock blast. If you are landing every single one of those large burst projectiles, then you have a lot of poke. And that certainly seems like the game plan is we bring in a Lux for some CC lockdown. And yes, Mark, another global ultimate. The Avengers are all here.
That's
that
right.
Lux will find damage anywhere on the map. Team Flash have drafted a composition that is going to start fighting early.
And it's all going to be pinned on Coyote and Zissou. They're the only ones that don't have global power, but they can bring the rest of the party with them. But on the flip side here...
Oh, the flip side?
JDG,
oh, okay.
They've got not only this Rakan coming into the support role and flexing that Karma into the mid lane. This now means that they have a solid front line with this Garen and the Rakan. You have now added disengage ability power between him, the Karma, and the Ziggs.
Yeah, and this is a composition that's going to play really well throughout every stage of the game. It's very simple. Ziggs do big damage, put Ziggs behind teamfight, win.
Kaboom.
And kabam. And if they can maintain that solid front line, if they can get the Ziggs online, he's going to kind of by default come online around the 10-minute mark, around completion of his second item. You typically go Luden's Echo first item, and then an AP item. And
Death Cap.
Death Cap, Death Cap, Death Cap, Death Cap,
yeah!
And once you complete Death Cap, you do massive teamfight damage. So it's all about that Ziggs surviving in the backline for JD Gaming. Team Flash do have the tools to get to him. Global mobility, and they will need to execute it at the start of our game number 1.
The sound of Garen's giant sword smacking Shy in the face. Oh, gotta love that.
I think, honestly, more characters need swords.
You know...
That's just a hot take for you to think about as we get into this.
You know, there's been other games where they added so many sword characters, and people in the past were like, man, another
There's
character
too
with
many
a sword.
Who are you?
Yeah.
More swords, please!
The duality of man. As we are 40 seconds so far.
Some people suck. Some people look at swords and they're like, that's too many swords, and I don't want to know you.
You know, TJ, I wonder if you're jealous that Omo got the angry DM from someone on Twitter, and now you're trying to...
I'm trying to farm. If you're out there and you hate swords, send me a Twitter DM. I want to point at you and laugh.
With your sword.
With my sword.
There you go.
I actually do own 2 swords, but they are both fencing swords. They're not even sharp, and that's an embarrassment. I'm going to get on that.
TJ will get to work on his sword collection. As for Team Flash, the name of the game was getting these global powers unlocked and playing around Coyote and Zissou. But so far, JDG, they're the ones moving first on the map.
Yep, and this is frankly to be expected. JDG, as we talked about compositionally, do scale later into the game, right? They do have that Zig's composition that's going to come online, so they're going to be pressing their buttons early. Team Flash don't have enough buttons to do anything yet. They need to hit level 5 across the board before they can start teleporting into lanes and casting laser beams that cover the entire map and crazy stuff like that.
And one of the ways that you can really damage a composition that is focused on global ultimates, you attack the champions that have globals.
Dude, Empty's up there in the top lane early because Team Flash knew JDG were going to look for an early shutdown onto the chef.
They were looking for the dive. Yeah. And Lemon was trading aggressively in lane, getting Shy below 50% HP, and you already saw that Doki had roamed up top, and TF was like, oh no, Shy's gonna die.
Yeah, and there's a super good rotate from Empty, and it's a very predictable presence from JDG, because Shen is really weak around the level 5 mark.
Yep.
They don't have enough damage or HP to really be a threat normally, and every other champion gets a really sick, cool ability at level 5, and Shen gets the ability to help out his friends. He gets the Vin Diesel, I'm gonna help my family, but... And that's not very good in lane fights. So it's really easy to bully Shen around the level 5 mark if you're a jungler and you want to know how to bully a Shen. Gank him at level 5. And Team Flash know that's about to happen, so Empty roams up, anticipates it, and completely cancels the play from JDG. Really cool stuff.
You know, that makes me realize there's something ironic about Shen. He can save others, but he can't save himself.
Ironic. The tragedy of Shen the Wise. I think that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Team Flash playing defensive so far, but my alarm bells aren't ringing yet because they need all those globals online. Those globals are now online, so the play is all about enabling Zissou. And I want to see, preferably before first objectives come up, Zissou step up and try to force a fight in a lane. He was kind of shadowing that middle of the map, but I want to see him really get gold onto Coyote because Coyote is so much their early game damage.
And like we've seen before at Icons, if you don't get a Jace online early, at the most he's just a glorified split push bot. And you don't want that. You want a little bit more kick out of it.
Here we go!
Maybe
Never
not.
mind.
We've been baited. Oh, kaboom from Che! He gets first blood right onto Ellie, and now Team Flash looking for a counter response. But JoJo is holding him in place. Transcendent Embrace already taking out another. Xingdo does fall to Team Flash, and the Stand United from Shy giving them some much needed assistance. MT trying to body block for Zissou, but the counter-strike does not give him enough space.
Oh!
But Ellie, right from the respawn fountain, is able to answer from downtown and finds one back.
3-2 positive trading for JDG in the first conflict of the game. A bad sign for Team Flash, but they did all right, and they got gold onto their key scaling carries. So, yet again, good sign for JDG, but my Team Flash alarm bells are not ringing. They tried to force the right kind of play here, and things went wrong. Namely, JoJo, in the middle of this fight, landing massive roots and forcing all this defensive spell casting out from Team Flash. They have to back away from that Karma to break her leash tethers. Team Flash take the right risks here, playing around Empty, but yet again, you see how much chaos is caused by the presence of that Karma in the fight.
I will say, even if the execution isn't what we're used to from Team Flash, I appreciate that they are making the right aggressive moves early on.
It's good to see. Our first objectives are now up, Mark. That Rift Herald going over to JDG. This Dragon, a matter of contest.
Xingdo is booking it over to the Dragon Pit. Can JDG stall enough time for the jungler to get here and stall time? They throw down the Rift Herald in the mid lane, so Team Flash are guaranteed to lose something, either this Dragon or the mid lane turret.
They got the Dragon!
Zissou secures it, and now Team Flash, can they walk out without losing any more members?
They already lost both Zissou and Ellie. Here comes the Rift Herald.
It crashes.
That's a turret as well over to JDG as they make away like bandits from this early trade. Massive gold gain, 2,000 lead currently, and some big shutdowns passed over.
The first brick being opened up, this is particularly in the mid lane as well, ensures that JDG will have access to the jungle quadrant. And we talked about how imperative it was for Zissou to be the one aggressively invading and taking camps away from Xingdo. It might just be the reverse.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it from Zissou. I liked that early attempt for a fight down in the Dragon lane, right? That was everything that we need from Zissou in the early game. But they didn't win that fight, and things have sort of been spiraling ever since because, oh, Shen TP.
Taunt right onto Xingdo, and from downtown once again, Ellie.
Combo.
Final spark lands the mark.
That's all they needed. That's the dream play, right? You land the final spark across the map off the back of the Shen, TP, and then Taunt. Stands United the ultimate from Shy, sending him to the conflict zone, and then he dashes through, taunting and kind of stun-locking the target. Jindo can't move, and with perfect communication, you do need to cast the ultimate as the taunt is landing. It's not long enough for you to cast it after the taunt lands, but if you cast it right as it is landing, you can get the kill down. And this is just masterful. Coyote says, I'm so tasty. Come and take a bite out of me. I'm only at a quarter my HP. You can come get a kill on me. And it is all planned from the beginning. It's a trap.
Can Shy get out of this one, though? There's 4 people here, but thankfully there's reinforcements coming in for Team Flash. Can they negate this one? Mega Inferno Bomb gets a bunch of burst damage onto the front line. The back line is being held up here, though, by Xingdo. He's already found Ali. And Lux is gone, and the rest of Team Flash have to scramble. Zissou is playing around cooldowns right now. Counter-Strike negates some damage, and JDG are playing at a hand's distance.
All the cooldowns are down for Team Flash. JDG have played the waiting game. Now they can strike.
Doki looking for another grand entrance if he can line it up, but it doesn't look like JDG are quite in range for the tower.
They're waiting for the wave to crash here. They're going to keep harassing until they have minions to let them in. Oh, but Jingo is out of position, and Team Flash are able to slip away into the darkness.
Can they get this turret down, though? JDG.
Absolutely. It's not even a question. If they want this turret, they'll get it. I suspect they're going to try and pass more gold onto Xingdo here. No, he's resetting. They don't want the turret. What do they want the timing for? JDG full reset there. Maybe this is just for Rift Herald? I think they could have gotten some damage onto the turret, but they turn it down
potentially
in exchange for the positioning around the Rift Herald.
JDG giving respect over to Team Flash. Perhaps they were respecting the global powers coming back up as Stand United was available once again right for that tower crash. Team Flash, thank their lucky stars that they don't face relentless pressure from JDG once again, but once we are looking at Zissou and Coyote to step up as we are closing out the mid-game pace.
And JDG have been so surgical in these team fights so far. You see the separation they're enforcing every fight between the front line and Ellie. Jinto, every single team fight, jumping onto Ellie and shutting them down as quickly as possible. That's going to continue. Team Flash need to be prepared to defend them, especially when you have a Galio on your team, when you have a Shen and a Jax on your team. You have enough CC tools to shut down Kha'Zix. I need to see them used.
Shy is split pushing on the bottom side of the map. Rift Herald has been started by JDG.
I don't think they can get in here. I think they're just going to take this trade, and they do. Shy getting gold, but that's not really the person you want getting farm for Team Flash. And so Team Flash will now have to defend the opposite side of this map with a Rift Herald coming in, 4v4.
Shy will be in position to assist with Stand United. Lemon won't be here if they go for it, but the Rift Herald's already made the crash. JDG have already gotten what they came for. Can Team Flash find a counter response? But they can't get in range.
Yeah, the final spark combo lands. Jojo's down to half HP, but they don't have enough damage to finish the kill or even really threaten the kill at this point. Coyote built Hullbreaker, so he's only really effective as a split-pushing aid. Hullbreaker, Black Cleaver. He's like a bruiser tank more than a real damage dealer. So all the damage on this team is coming from Ellie right now, because Zissou's not online yet. He's going to need the second, third item to really be a damage threat by himself. And Coyote's building in the opposite direction. And Ellie, like I said, their only real damage is under farm, behind in gold by about 1,000.
I think he's being forced to split components right now as well. Going for a Morellonomicon has to be the Grievous Wounds carrier, but it's not the same type of damage as if you were able to complete a Death Cap or even a Void Staff at this point in the game.
Yeah. No Death Cap. Rather disappointing for us. Archangel Staff completed by Cho as well, so no Death Cap on either side of the board.
Yeah, but yeah, at least he's getting scaling ability power.
It's just a huge L for a Death Cap champ, you know?
No hats aboard.
JDG clean up the map they find. The Mountain Drake as well as the bottom turret, and they're going to keep pushing here, leveraging what is now a several thousand gold, about 4,000 gold advantage. This is, at this point, their game to lose.
You know, you were talking to me before this match about how Doki is kind of a memer. Just proto-belting in front of them. It's like, oh, what are you going to do about it?
Doki is the funniest support player in this tournament. It was Dejuo from Sengoku at the Horizon Cup. It is Doki in this tournament. Every single time Doki has the chance to just like be a little bit of a troll, be a little bit freaky, he's gonna take it, and it's really fun.
And he does it without getting punished because he knows his limits. He knows the range at which he can operate safely and decides to just flex his muscles a little bit. He knows that they're in a good position.
Fun fact, those energy waves you can see at the edge of the stage right now are real, and in person, it feels like touching static electricity.
Whoa.
So when you touch them, have you not been around to the front of the stage?
No.
It like stings a little bit. I kind of walked into it because they had signs up, but I didn't see them. And they added them this week, so I just kind of walked into it, got a little bit of a zap, had to take a step back. Everyone shouted at me.
Bet that woke you up for the day.
Yeah, they were like, don't touch the weird electricity field, dude. It's there for aesthetics.
You got an unfortunate taste of the electric field.
Yeah, you didn't really have anything there, did you?
No, I was really looking for a one-liner to really crush it home, but it just kind of fell.
It's like that sometimes. We do have a technical pause on stage. Unclear what caused it, but we'll get that information to you if the pause continues.
Little finger heart from Coyote.
Little finger heart. We don't have that in the US. We do the larger finger heart where you take your index fingers and thumbs on two hands and put them together.
Yep.
But everyone else has the two-finger finger heart that you can do with a single hand.
That way you can be casually on your phone scrolling
Right.
through, social media, and then if you see someone,
Look up and give.
you give them.
I don't know if this is where I assume not, but I first saw it in connection to K-pop, so to me it's always the K-pop finger heart.
Yeah, that's where I saw it as well, and I feel like that's a majority of the influence coming from.
Then I think we could decide that it's the K-pop finger heart,
Sure.
the two of us.
Yeah.
So I love the tech. You also saw on stage there, if you're seeing those like little packets that the players have in their hands, those are hand warmers. You put those in like a microwave
Dude,
or
I
something
love
ahead of
those.
time,
Yeah.
and they stay hot for a couple of hours, so you can have a couple of hours, a bit much, a couple of minutes, as you can have them out on stage, and as you're like playing, you can warm up your hands.
Yeah.
Not really a huge issue normally here because it is relatively warm, but
It's humid, dude.
well, you know. But it's still like, if your muscles are getting tense, the heat is really useful, and I've heard players say that when they're playing on stage, sometimes their hands will be like shaking or cramping just because of nerves, and the hand warmers help them kind of release that tension.
Something nice to be brought over from fighting game tournaments.
True, actually. And the other things I've been seeing over the course of this tournament, I've been seeing some chalk, I think, some like climbing chalk.
Oh.
Which is very cool, and it's like a powder. It's similar to climbing chalk. I don't actually know what it is, but you put it on your fingers so they don't get like sweaty or greasy.
Yeah.
And it's used in like rock climbing. There's a very similar substance used to make sure you can get handholds, but I think it's being used to make sure you can get the touches in.
Yeah.
And then one thing I haven't seen since the play-in stage, honestly, kind of upset about it, is the finger sleeves.
Yeah. Dude, I've actually used one of those, and I thought to myself, this just looks goofy. There's no way this actually works.
What are you talking about?
And
They look sick.
Well, okay. Well, like,
Maybe they looked goofy on you.
the point is, TJ, I was
Okay.
wrong. I tried them, and they're great.
Yeah, it like genuinely does help. Do you want to transition to the stats?
Yeah, I didn't know really what the
You like
best
made a
transition.
gesture towards it. You could say, here, we'll do it again. Yeah, they look good.
Boom, transition.
You're absolutely right, Mark. Shinto dominating Zissou in the
Thank
stats
you for
board
accepting my terrible throw there.
here. This is the jungle matchup over the course of the tournament. Now, it is a little rough because JDG have played like 5 games total. So they've been smashing all their opponents. Team Flash did have the loss to Nova Esports, so the stats are mixed in there a little bit. However, I think it is worth noting that Zissou is struggling and did struggle in that loss, and he is supposed to be one of the stars of Team Flash.
Yeah.
So we're looking for a bit of a turnaround here today. Not seen it yet in game number 1.
Copium angle for WCS fans. If Zissou were to struggle against any particular jungle opponent,
Okay,
understandably it would be both Long and Shingdo.
I'm gonna hit you with the bigger copium angle.
Okay, hit me.
He's biding his time.
Oh!
He's playing Jax, he's scaling. Watch this, he's gonna clean up the second half of the game.
It is only game 1, and we're not even halfway.
He's scaling in the series, dude!
Oh ho ho! Well, can Coyote scale in this one? He's got Stan United, and now they're trying to bring the rest of the party there. The signal has been lit. MT comes in with the knock-up, but now they're on the retreat. They no longer want to engage this fight. Good light binding from Ellie stops the fight in its tracks.
Bam!
Bam!
Mega in front of him closes out the fight. Yeah, Team Flash kind of blow everything there to get their players out. which is worthwhile because I think Zizou stole a blue buff, so dub. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
stole that blue buff.
You
but
show him, Zizou.
That was what that entire fight was over. They used the Shen ulti and the Galio ulti, so they can't take any fights until those ultimates come back up. Of course, JDG did blow some resources as well, so it's not a loss or anything. Yeah, he does have the blue buff. He did steal that away. There's the aggression we're looking for, Mark.
It took 12 minutes, but we got a blue buff stolen
Got a
away.
blue buff.
Let's go.
Team Flash otherwise kind of being run on the map. You can see that gold lead hovering around 2,000 thanks to some very good work. But they're being pushed back behind these turrets.
Final Spark gets some damage down on a Lemon, but he's Garen. He pops the damage reduction ability, and he's like, yeah, dude, I'm chilling. I'm out of there.
He's half HP. Here's the thing about Garen. All that HP will be right back. Garen has one of the fastest regens in the game. I think literally the fastest now that Set has been nerfed a little bit. Previously, it was a bit of a toss-up, but his regen is absurd. If you are playing Galio and you build any amount of HP, you can drift out of the fight and get all of your health back in a second.
One of my favorite things, TJ, is when the Baron spawns, and I like to see...
That's one of my favorite things, too.
We have so much in common. That's why we're a good casting duo, dude.
Yeah, dude, we just fist bumped.
Bam.
Boom.
But as I was saying,
Right.
one of my favorite things about when Baron comes up, I like to see how teams react to it. Some teams will immediately start forcing plays around the Baron, daring the other team to come and face check, or they'll just treat it like it doesn't exist.
Team Flash playing a little bit more passive here, very aware of the Baron coming up, and kind of the response from both teams is Team Flash want to stall out this game, make it last longer. They don't want to go for like a climactic Baron fight until Zizou is doing real damage, until he's completed ideally his third item. He does have the Blade of the Rune King complete here, so it's a little bit better than it was. But they want him to be at least on 3 items, so they're kind of playing slow. But you'll notice JDG, the second they saw Zizou on the bottom side of the map, the entire team is there. Everyone's rotating down to the bottom side to try and pick up that kill, because if they kill Zizou, if they shut down the jungler, they get a free back.
Free Baron.
Ooh.
Shy's fine. He's tanky.
I liked what you did with that word.
Oh, thank you. Shoutouts to my homeboy Alk Battery back at home.
Does he say that?
Yeah. No, there are times when we're playing games, it's like, it's free. You know, just a little rolling of the R's. Latino things, you know.
Sure. I don't know, but sure. I don't think anyone knows less about Latino things than me.
No, it's okay.
Have you looked at me recently, right?
Okay.
Baron is up, and JDG are getting kind of antsy, trying to force a fight around it, trying to set up for it. Team Flash, aware of that and playing defensively, kind of denying the opportunity to force a fight, but the cross side to that is, of course, that every moment the Team Flash are hiding inside their base, for instance, they're not getting this far. They're going to lose minion waves worth of gold. So, he's completed Wit's End. I don't know if you've noticed.
Double
There's
attack
that third
speed.
item.
Yep. Double attack speed item plus Divine Sunderer. You're bashing people in the head very fast, and for 10% of their max HP every Sheen proc.
So that makes the passive play make a little bit more sense. Team Flash knew that Zizou was pretty close to completing Wit's End, which he has now completed. So he's got a whole bunch of lifesteal. He's really scary in these fights. And here we go. We're going to have primary objective on the board in this Infernal Drake. Team Flash will be able to contest it. This will be kind of their one and only swing at team fighting their way out of this game. For the game, for game 1 in this series, here we go.
Oh, that's a huge knockup from Doki. Redemption comes in, gives a second win. Xingdo jumps into the backline, transcended embrace, and Lemon with the dunk, silencing out Coyote. He's taken to low HP.
Xingdo got as well.
But they've answered back. Team Flash, this time around, they have the jungler advantage. And without Xingdo, they can't contest with the smite.
Wow, that team fight was run by Zizou. The composition works to perfection. Shy gets the stands united onto his jungler, who just tears through the backline. First isolating Toki, then punishing Xingdo for trying to get a little bit too aggressive. They get the Infernal Drake, and they control the map with the Baron up.
The turret taken out as well. Team Flash taking so much on the Rift off of one fight. If they can make a massive swing like this, momentum is back on their side.
Poke in here, final spark to try and get enough control of this Baron pit, but for now, Team Flash will want to retreat and spend the gold that they just earned. You can see the gold at the top of the screen is now, for the first time in this game, Team Flash led.
And look back at this fight, because at the beginning, JDG, they're the ones that engage. They're the ones that make the fight start.
Only watch Zissou. Put some blinders on. Watch how he plays this fight. He sees all the mobility spent by Doki, punishes him. That man has no spells, I can finish that kill. Jingdo gets a little frisky. Zissou stands on top of him, waits for the Zhonya's to end, gets another kill. In the meantime, the rest of the team is protecting Coyote. You see Ellie with some great shielding, Empty with some great taunts. The behavior I was asking for in previous fights is deployed. The carries are protected, and Zissou is now big enough to take care of himself.
And now if you're on JDG's side, you suddenly have to pay a lot of respect to Zissou. You can no longer leave him attendant in these future fights.
So, Team Flash now, with a brilliant team fight, demonstrating their understanding of the game, knowing when to strike, have the lead and an opportunity to take their game. It's all about the Baron fight now, creating enough control that they can start this Baron, force JDG to walk into them.
Team Flash have the vision advantage. It's a blanket of darkness from JDG's side. They don't see what is going on until Team Flash poke their heads out. Already getting some chip damage and forcing important spells off of JDG. Final Spark doesn't quite land.
Dive in.
Doki, knock up into the backline. Mega Inferno Bomb is huge onto the backline. Shingdo jumps in, takes down already Empty, but Zissou, can he answer back? He's got the Stand United Shield. It is now a battle between the junglers. Zissou and Shingdo, who can carry harder? Who can get the reset? Shingdo finds 3. Zissou, can he clean up? It's a 2-on-3.
Coyote still alive, roaming into this fight with huge damage.
He's in. He dodges the knock-up here. Coyote's also in, goes gold, and Zissou doubling down on the stasis, but they're under tower, and they have to make their way out. You don't want to lose on this GA. Shingdo jumps in. Coyote answers back. Another stasis, but this time it's from Shingdo. GA is expended by Zissou. Jumps in one more time, but it's the flash. Quick fingers from Lemon, gets out safely.
You are kidding me. Team Flash so obviously have their builds at completion, could take these fights, but they don't quite have enough damage to finish any of those kills as JDG play perfect hot potato, cycling their low HP members through the front line, using Lemon as the beefcake that can keep their carries alive.
And it's one of those things that we saw from JDG, especially in their back-to-back series against Rolster. Why? When things were so critical during the group stage.
Check out the way that Coyote plays this fight. He was split pushing in the top lane the entire time. He roams into the fight and is a huge part of its stabilization. Zissou doing the damage. Coyote, as we touched on, not building for damage, building for HP. Being a bruiser, a kind of tertiary tank in these fights. And you saw it there as he was able to draw some of the focus away from Zissou as they were tower diving 2v3.
Coyote recognizing his role in this part of the game. It's not about the damage anymore. It's about just being another body that Zissou can use to be able to get through the front line alongside as a dive buddy. Team Flash, once again, returning to the Baron, going for a similar play.
Check out JoJo's build path. Death cap, death cap, death cap, death cap.
He also has an Ardent Sensor as well.
Yep.
And I love this, that he's able to flex in getting a lot of ability power for the shields, but now also getting utility with the Ardent Sensor.
And the Ardent Sensor will add some extra damage, in particular to Lemon in these team fights. Watch out for how much weird amount of damage Lemon is doing. Ellie almost caught, protected by Empty.
Good flash as well. Transcendent Embrace locks him up though. Ellie, you don't have much room to work with. Your flash is already gone. Shingdo is on the back line. Huge knockup from Doki once again. But it's Coyote! Wait, he's here! He's unanswered! He's got it! Team Flash! And a flash takes away game 1.
You are kidding me! The split push in the top side, unanswered. He runs it twice. He gets a huge hug from Zissou as they take their first game off of their opponent's JDG.
The elated reactions from the Vietnamese squad shows you how important getting the first win in this series sets them up for great momentum in the series.
I was watching that fight thinking, why don't they have Coyote here? He's too late to rotate.
Where is he?
And they made the same call. They said there's no point getting Coyote back in this fight. We're going to stall out on the backlines, let them spend cooldowns, and finish the game. Hullbreaker Jace in the side lane doing what he was designed to do.
Ironically, we talked about how if Coyote doesn't snowball, if he can't team fight with the Jace, you are just going to be a split push bot. Well, he was the best damn split push bot we have seen so far.
An incredible split pushing demonstration. Team Flash throughout that entire game understand what their win conditions are, how to play to them. They don't take any fights until they have a favored fight, and they don't take any fight in the late game until they have a split push that can win them the game.
What an explosive victory, so quickly taken back by Team Flash when it was their moment. Digon, talk to us, man. How is that game won already? Are we ready to do the thing?
No, we're not ready to do the thing, but the game one was as good as your outfits. Great job, guys,
Woo!
on game number 1. And we got ourselves an upset lead.
Yeah!
Team Flash, WCS on the board first. First time that's happened all tournament long. And so JDG on the back foot, they're going to need to find some answers. But that was after a series, had some pauses. But basically, I wouldn't say it was like the Ralster Nova series where they hand shook to get to the late game. But once we got to the late game, then we got to see, finally, a team that had the mechanics that could really keep up in some fights against the WRL squad of JDG.
And that's the thing, right? We saw how Team Flash, it felt like a different Team Flash. They were super duper confident. They were basically entering every single fight, that they know that they can match the mechanics. And the fact that the ending was just so great, but I know I'm too excited to talk about the ending yet. We're still looking at the early game highlights.
No, I'm gonna get fired after this because I refuse to say anything good about Team Flash. I'm not gonna do it.
All
I'm
right, that's
All
true.
JDG played pretty well this game.
They did.
Yeah.
They did. Again, right? JDG, early lead. It was theirs for a while, but then we had this fight around the dragon. I think TJ did a great job explaining keep your eyes onto Zissou, but also Coyote multiple times in this fight. I was like, oh, Coyote's almost dead. Okay, he's healed. Right here. Oh, Coyote's almost dead again. This one right here. And then is able to get out twice. It's again, two times.
I swear, this Lux and Galio combo just protects them from all the magic damage.
Yeah.
Imagine as the game progresses, all of these shielding from the Lux is going to be in a very low cooldown, so you can just keep spamming and protect your carries. That's why they're so aggressive.
I'm not talking about Ali, I'm not talking about M2, but if you're
Okay.
talking about the champions, Lux and Galio,
Yeah.
I think what we saw this game was those two champs did a very great job at negating one of Zig's biggest strengths, which is zone control. You would see the Lux pop the shield on Galio, who already has a magic damage shield. He would walk in, tank every single grenade, every single mine, and your team can just clear out the field. You can walk in.
Yeah, I feel like, Team Flash recognizes that, okay, Coyote also with this really, really good backdoor. Amazing that JDG was so busy with a team fight over at that big Baron area. Look at this gold swing. And I want to recognize the fact that Team Flash saw Ziggs, Karma, lots of magic damage. Let's also itemize against that. We saw Moz, we saw Wit's End from the side of Zissou, basically making sure that they're kept alive on top of the shields, the magic shields. I love it. Stand United as well played a huge part in protecting these characters.
I very much like that point because sitting back in the back with Stuart multiple times now, we've seen some very weird builds by teams throughout Icons. This felt like the most thought through build path here by Team Flash's squad in terms of itemization for Magic Resist, and not just thinking, hey, we need to kill them. It's like, hey, how do we beat them, right? And you could tell that thinking is there because of the backdoor play that Coyote called for the rest of the squad.
And I think, Riku, we have to make a confession here. We were kind of backstage talking about the fact that we don't really like Jace from Outbreak. It kind of feels like a bait pig. You do no damage in these team fights. Your shock blasts don't hurt. But when you have the killer instinct like Coyote does, like that, you recognize the timing window, everyone's dancing around an objective, you just go end the game. Simple as that, really.
And you saw the power of it as they were dancing around in a 2v3 after the Baron fight. No Baron, but after the fight broke out there, where again, Zissou and Coyote felt comfortable to take on the 3 members of JDG in that fight because of the tankiness that the Hullbreaker provides.
And that's exactly what TJ was talking about as well, right? We don't want to see Team Flash be nice boys, respectful. We want to see Team Flash come in swinging. That's exactly what we got in game 1.
Yeah, exactly. We're seeing right now a glimpse of the WCS Team Flash, and they gotta keep going wild like this. Yes.
All right. Well, before game 2 starts, let's send it on over to Mika with the next opponent of one of these quarterfinal teams. It's JT's Barry.
Thanks, Digon. I'm here right now with Barry from a J Team. Congratulations to you guys for that very dominant win. I want to know if that was indeed as one-sided as we thought it was, as we felt it was, or were you guys challenged?
今天还是恭喜你们拿下了这个比赛的胜利啊！想问一下，今天的这场比赛对于你们来讲，是不是具有一些挑战性，还是说在你们意料之中的？
在我们意料之中。
We don't face too much challenge into this game. I thought we can just handle the situation.
Wow, looks like you guys are ready. And we learned from Michelle, actually, Michelle mentioned that you are on a quest to be one of the best ADCs, in particular the best Vayne in this tournament. I want to know who else has impressed you. Who are your top 2 ADCs or Dragon Laners so far in Icons 2022?
因为我之前在采访当中其实有提到过，你是我们赛区的第1维恩嘛？你觉得在这次 Icons 的舞台当中，还有哪个赛区哪位选手的这个 AD 你觉得是排在你之下的第2 AD 呢？
我觉得京东的那个池挺厉害的。
I think the AD carry Chi from JDG gonna be the 2nd place.
Wow, okay. And just out of curiosity, because I'm very curious, why is your IGN Barry?
就是很好奇为什么你的 ID 叫 Barry？
因为这是一首歌名，喜欢这首歌。
It's a name of a song. It's my favorite song.
Oh, wow. And here I thought that we were going for some kind of fun Sunday with Cherry on the same team. Now, you guys will be up against the winner of the next match. Would you rather go up against JD Gaming or Team Flash, and why?
下一场的话，你们要对阵的是下一场的胜者。你更倾向于对阵 JDG， 还是更倾向于对阵他们的对手这个 TF 呢？为什么？
我更想打 TF 一点嘛，因为 WRL 赛区内战感觉可能大家看着没那么开心吧。
I prefer to play against the TF because I don't think audience gonna be like seeing the other 4 teams gonna be from WRL.
Oh, wow. That is very, very spicy. Thank you so much, Barry. Back to you guys on the analyst desk.
Thank you very much to Mika, Michelle, and Barry. Barry, a man of the people. He's like, yeah, let's give the people the show. Give us TF. How about that?
Oh, I'm gonna cry. We're getting looked down on like this. It's just like, oh my god.
That's not what he said. He didn't say look down. He was just like, this would be more
Sometimes,
fun.
Yeah, it was for more fun. Yeah.
Just like, no, it's not even like we want WRL to win so we can prove we're the best. It's like we know we're the best. We just want to give you guys some excitement.
Wow.
Yeah, I just want to give you guys a good show, basically.
Look at Coyote, by the way. He's got the swagger.
So
he
much
knows he won
swag.
that game for his team.
He's got the killer instinct, man.
Yeah. Oh,
Let's go!
he's feeling it.
It's about time. This is what I wanted to see. This is what I wanted to see from this squad that, you know, in the region of the WCS looked so comfortable and dominant, right? This was a dominant team, and when they got here to Icons, dominant was not the word that you could describe them with.
Yeah, I mean, when we look back at their journey from the WCS Vietnam, they were basically undefeated during their playoffs run.
Sure.
And
SBTC who?
And they continued that win streak up until the WCS when they 4-0'd Flash Wolves. So, you know, I feel like we're really starting to see the return of the WCS Team Flash here.
All right. Well, one game in the books, a draft that was unique. We talked about during the draft. We were like, hey, we love this draft in terms of like watchability.
Yep.
In terms of aggression, a lot more than what we saw out of Flash Wolves. Let's see if they can do it again here in game number 2. JDG taking the blue side, Team Flash on the red. So looking like they're sticking with it here.
Yeah, Team Flash maybe having less flexibilities in terms of bans this time around. Same as last game, being on the red side. You have to ban away the Senna. You have to ban away the Yuumi. I think they're going to stick with the Singe ban as well. But I'm curious to see if JDG want to add any adaptations here. Maybe, I'm starting to think, take away the Jax might be a good choice. Because Team Flash, Zissou, I think he's been quite reliant on falling back to the late game scaling here in the Icons Global Championship. Force him onto something early game, Kha'Zix, Olaf, and see how he goes there.
But that's the thing. Singdo really loves his Jax and his Kha'Zix. These are his 2 best picks when we look back at the WRL. So he has to make sure that he has those 2 available. And the only third champion that I could think of that is very different from the WRL run is the Xin Zhao, which he has used as well as his 3rd best pick.
So Jace getting taken away here. Shy, or Coyote is going to need to figure that one out. A new solution.
Yeah.
Coyote, again, is a man of many faces. He has a very deep champion pool. This Jace ban will do nothing, will not hurt Coyote at all.
Well, I'd say he's a man of one face. He's always very cool.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
He's a stone cold killer right there, but champion pool-wise, definitely very deep there.
Immediate takeaway of the Karma after the Singed ban coming on through. That is one that we've seen consistently banned, but the priority on Singed has risen on up throughout the Icons tournament. And so It is Karma heading on over to JDG. Shen going back into the hands of Shy.
Yeah.
That's a nice little run back there.
Yeah, Zissou was so tanky on
Yep.
the Jax as well, with the Stand United coming in, with the Heroes entrance coming in as well. And I feel like JDG, that was one of the problems with their draft last game too. They were quite lacking damage, especially playing against the shielding that Team Flash had. I think this time around, if you want to run back the draft, you have to consider the fact that we need to draft a damage source somewhere that can scale into the late game.
Right, again, it was I think a third item, maybe a fourth item, death cap there for Juju, but just a little bit too late, not enough damage coming from the Karma.
Like,
It's a Karma!
Yeah, like-
Wow! They're running this back. Honestly, I was thinking JDG to shift back into something that plays more around Karma that can buff early game champions like the Lucian, but it seems to me they're not gonna they're just basically gonna run it back, do things differently.
I very much like that there. They lock in the Ziggs, and Lemon looks his head up and looks to the other side saying, all right, we've thrown down our first 3 picks, and it's a bit different here. Morgana coming on out.
But why though? This one is interesting to me. The Lux was a great pick for you. There was definitely no problems with Lux last game. Why are you opting to go for Morgana here? Unless maybe we're gonna see something cheeky like a Flex Morgana, even though I doubt that's gonna happen. This raises a lot of question marks for me.
Because honestly, Coyote can still play this in the mid lane. This
could,
Team
yeah.
Flash that is basically gonna pull a fast one on everybody in the draft, especially they already won the first game. So now, yeah, that's the biggest question. Maybe they want that big black shield to not allow Zissou to be CC'd. They're gonna put all their eggs in one basket, unless this is Ellie Morgana and Coyote's gonna pull a fast one in the draft. He's smiling! He's having fun!
Maybe it might be the Morgana, but this is Team Flash is saying our identity for this series is gonna be play around Zissou. The WRL has always played 4, facilitate 1. Team Flash says we'll take a page out of your book, we'll do you one better. We will facilitate Zissou, our star jungler, to come in and carry us against you, JDG.
All right, Wukong and Riven banned away by Team Flash. JDG have to close it on out, and it's the Galio, which Empty looked really good on. Also, Gragas taken away, so not a lot of disengaged tankiness here from the support role. We've seen the set kind of pop up. We've also seen Thresh played a decent amount today. Let's see where they go with that.
Oh,
Nice,
wow.
Yeah. We want to show support here. And this is another cue that the Morgana might be a flex pick, because you show support here, you keep the Morgana flex to 5. Maybe we see Mog mid, maybe even a Rakan mid taking a page out of RIQ's book.
Alistair getting taken away by JDG, so you try to go in
my
with the quickness and
Rerun
carry
it
the
back.
tanky side of the bite.
Yeah, we're really running it back with, again, what almost said, 4 facilitators and 1 big carry. That's going to be Singdo again on this Kazik. So now I wonder what Team Flash is going to do. I feel like Coyote is going to be a carry here. This is them lacking on the damage department a little bit. I feel like they need a secondary carry to beat the 2v1.
Especially
here in
early to
JDG.
mid. Early to mid.
Exactly.
You're
They need
missing
something
early mid
there
damage.
it is! Put it out there! That's it! I love it!
Another WCSZ coming on through. We got to see Helios run with it throughout the tournament. Not so successful yesterday, but Coyote, the champion of the region, pulling out the Zed.
I think the biggest difference is that Team Flash again can basically do 1-3-1. If you have Zissou and Coyote split the side lanes, you have that big entry. You can pick up Hullbreaker, then you have a big cheat. You have the Shen Stand United, and it suddenly becomes a 2v1. I think it's amazing.
Momo, final
Team
thoughts.
Flash have a great comp for playing side lanes, but JDG, they want to come and team fight you. They want to AoE shield, run at you, run you down. It's going to be hard against Morgana, against Rakan, against Stand United, but JDG, they're one of the best teams in the world. If anyone can make it work, it's them.
All right, y'all. Casters, the air's getting a little thick here with some copium, so
let's go.
Let's send it back on over to you so we can take a little bit of a break and enjoy game number 2, just like everyone around the world will.
Digon, you say the air is thick with copium?
Big inhale!
Oh! I'm inhaling that, baby.
How does it taste?
Victory.
Oh, Team Flash. There's 3-0 on the stage, and I think we agreed they built a pretty good draft here in order to get it. They do lack the global presence of their previous team composition, but we got a Zed.
And I love seeing some good Zed gameplay. We saw a lot of spiciness from yesterday in the series between RRQ and FunPlus Phoenix. I now want to see how well Coyote can perform on this assassin. And for JDG, can they regain composure? Can they regain control of this series?
One thing that Coyote will be able to do on the Zed is split push. We saw him do that on the Jace in the last game.
Did a
It will
pretty
fulfill
damn good
the
job
same
of that too.
Role, right? You can be in that side lane, you can be causing damage. The other thing he can do on this Zed is have a great time in lane against JoJo, which is why Doki is here in the opening levels. Because even Zed, who has a pretty weak level 1, will have a pretty good time farming early. And if Zed gets farm early, it is, as we say in the business, in the esports analysis business, a bad time.
And JoJo also gets priority, so he can get vision to see where Zissou started, going for that full clear once again. And immediately, as you talked about, Coyote, as soon as he hits level 2, jumping instantly right onto JoJo.
Yeah, and this will really help as well, the Zed in the team fights, with the presence onto the backline that Cho is bringing with the Ziggs, and being able to instantly annihilate the Ziggs in fights is going to be very important. One thing I would flag is that in comparison to the last game where we were talking about the amount of CC, the amount of tank that Team Flash had to receive Jingdo's pressure, to receive the instant burst of Mega Inferno Bomb, followed by JoJo, followed by Jingdo. They don't have that as much this game.
I want to see what JDG do with Doki and Jingdo towards the bottom side of the map, because they are in position to maybe contest or at least go for an invade, but empty. Spotting that rotation, cancels the recall, and now they're going to fight in the mid lane. Knockup from Doki, but this is an Alistar. He doesn't have a way out like he did on the Recon. It is empty that goes back in.
He's bouncing!
And Lemon was forced to come to the mid lane just to join up the fight. Doki almost going down in the exchange.
It's in the Willy Wonka chocolate river there. Just getting melted by Ellie as he's trying to run away. The dark pool keeps following him.
You don't want to take a drink of that pool.
No. Well, maybe it tastes great. I don't know. But the point is, much like in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, it's a danger. And as Doki's trying to survive that fight, Ellie's damage follows him, dropping him down very low, winning the skirmish 14 Flash. They don't get any early kills, but they do hold on to their kind of jungle sovereignty early, which matters a lot. As we talked about, Coyote and Zissou are both kind of scaling champions. They need a couple deliveries of gold, some minions in their bank account in order to do real damage. He's just spamming emotes, man.
He was doing it a minute ago, and he's still back at it. Coyote. This is how you get into the opponent's head.
And he did the penguin question mark, just asking questions, what's going on with you, dude? And you giggled at it, but you were holding down the cough button, and so I couldn't talk about it. And I was making, that was when I was making the point about the Zig. So I got so lost, because I was like, I want to talk about this, but they didn't hear you giggle.
I'm sorry.
Could you give me a giggle right now? Nice.
Coyote is in world of trouble,
Stand United.
but Stand United is going to... Oh! I thought he was saved, but it's the Transcendent Embrace from JoJo that clips him right back in, and then JoJo says, nice penguin emote, here's a fist.
Oh. Thumbs up in response for JoJo. That's how you know you got in his head, when he kills you and spams 3 consecutive emotes. JDG taking the Rise approach, recognizing that the Zed is real scary during the early game yesterday, or last game. We saw a ton of pressure on Ellie. This game around, they're getting rid of the Zed early. Repeated ganks in the middle of the map, this time from Jingdo. Does find the kill that they need.
Almost towards the 4-minute mark where turret resistances will drop. Team Flash not necessarily in position.
We'll talk about this replay briefly. You can just see the presence of Doki and Jingdo in the lane. This is very obviously a concerted effort to shut him down. Really good use of the Transcendent Embrace, the Karma ultimate, locking down an AoE area where as soon as the Stand United fades, he can get the kill. You're giggling back to your emotes.
I only recalled him saying it once.
No, it was boo, boo, boo.
Yeah.
Get out of my lane.
Knuckle sandwich, knuckle sandwich, knuckle sandwich.
I do want to flag, they tried to put the Zed Coyote in the bottom lane. Team Flash not liking that matchup.
That's a lot of damage on Shy. He's forced out of there. Zissou might be in trouble, forced to flash away.
So they tried to put Coyote in the bottom lane in order to match him up against Cho. In the theory that they could get the Ziggs v Zed matchup, very good for Zed. Instantly JDG match it. They put the Karma in that bottom lane again, continuing to zone out Coyote, having success so far. Even though I don't think that should be a favorable matchup on paper, it has been so far this game. Here, maybe as Coyote levels up, is finally the break point where JoJo starts to lose it.
The key moment for JoJo is using that exhaust right when the death mark comes out, negating a lot of that incoming burst damage so that he survives the encounter. JoJo will be able to survive, but has to leave lane.
Yeah. So, finally, some good news for Coyote. And he is not going the Hullbreaker side lane build that we have seen a couple of Zeds do recently.
He's going for damage.
Damage. Ghostblade starting things off, indicating this will be a team fight threat.
It's a handshake of objectives across the Rift here, TJ. Rift Herald for JDG. Team Flash get the Dragon, And unfortunately for Ellie, walked into the wrong part of the jungle.
Yeah, he thought it was their own jungle.
Not anymore.
Rift Herald picked up. Probably you don't want to use this for this turret, so the win here for Team Flash is if they can force the Rift Herald use.
They save it just in time. 300 HP still on the tower.
Can they get the Rift Herald out for this turret?
JDG. Use the Transcendent Embrace, get some burst damage. Shy. Great use of the Twilight Shroud. Negates a lot of the auto attack damage from JDG. They negate one more wave.
Yeah, really well played. We're going to see... I still think JDG are going to try and get this without spending the Rift Herald. There it is. The Ziggs Bomb will complete it. So they've still got that Rift Herald in their pockets to use for another objective.
Ooh! Kaboom!
Kabam!
You know what's funny to me is Team Flash doing such a great job of trying to hold all of that, and she was like, that's cute. But nice turret.
Be a shame if someone satchel bombed it.
Oh, Coyote getting aggressive on the Lemon, but he's about to lose his turret, and now it's a 2v1. This Shadow Ninja, can he outplay this one? Deathmark already used. Demacian Justice! It is canceled out by the Stand United. Shy with the Taunt Flash, lands it on the Lemon, and now Doki he's got to go back home.
Coyote lives the fight and gets a little bit of assist gold. That will help the Wayward Ninja. And it does also mean that Shy's got a little bit in his own bank account. Team Flash getting what they need to scale into these late game team fights. The goal here again is not to win early, it is to last until Zissou has 3 items, completing his Wit's End. That will be the 3rd item build if he sticks to the same build as last game, which I see no reason why he would break from tradition. So we will go Blade of the Rune King into Wit's End, and once he has completed that 3rd item, they will team fight. Till then, it's about keeping the gold within about 2,000, not losing too much.
Take a look back at this. Buying so much time just for Shy to be able to come in with Stand United.
Coyote lives on 2 HP. Like, that's real close to the wire. And he stepped back in. He was like, how can I find a kill here?
The coaches, too, they felt it. Like, ho-ho. Felt the breeze on the last tick of damage coming through.
Turned into Luigi. Ho-ho!
Team Flash, almost 8 minutes into the game. This is a point where they are still biding their time, scaling on objectives, getting Zissou online. But it's now Doki forcing out Ellie from under the Tower of the Flash. Does not save him this time around, and now Team Flash down a member.
Rift Herald finally used another turret, gone.
Satchel Charge explodes it. Kaboom goes the Mega Inferno Bomb. Demacian Justice gets a ton of damage out onto Shy, forces him to retreat. Are they going to continue for more? Nope.
Jingdo unable to escort that Rift Herald to the 2nd turret. Did give it a swing though, got a little bit greedy.
Stepping up to the plate. Strike gonna miss.
Thought it was an all-day buffet, got told closing time was around midday. Ushered out.
Midday's at 8:25.
Is it really? Whoa! It's 9:30. Oh. You're an hour off. Oh, you were going by the in-game time.
The in-game time.
You're right. Midday's at 8:25.
On the Rift.
On the Rift. And that buffet is closed, but JDG still did take a lot of food for it. Took some back to their hotel room for later, built themselves a 3k gold lead. Nothing to sneer at. They also have gotten rid of all of the tier 1 turrets, which will give them access to all the jungle inside Team Flash's side, as well as priority on all of these objectives. So Team Flash need to make some proactive plays here before Zissou is at mark, because if they play slow, they're just going to get edged out of the game.
Rift Herald has spawned once again. JDG, they're the ones first to the pie here. They have control over the pit. Doesn't seem like Team Flash are going to contest.
I think we're hungry. The pie, the all-day buffet.
Food's good, man.
Sure is. And that cramp will go over to JDG.
There we go again. It's just, it is inevitable, TJ.
And that will be the Rift Herald in Jindo's pocket. Now here's the one I want Team Flash to fight for. Make sure you get on that Infernal Dragon, because if JDG get it, then it doesn't really matter how much Zissou scales. That's an extra 1,000 gold-ish of scaling worth of damage stats in JDG's pocket in the late game.
Oh no! So close. We were teeing up, getting ready to walk into the pit 25 seconds from now. The fight was going to explode. I can envision all in my head, but it will come to pass.
Give me an Infernal Dragon fight in your head.
Kabam! Boom! Bow! Whoa!
It's actually what I sound like during fights. If you just isolated my audio track, it's just me going, whoa, wow, whoa.
I'll give you another one.
Is that the Jax coming in?
Yeah,
Swinging
Counter-Strike.
a staff.
Yep, helicopter style.
We're not quite at Jax helicopter territory yet, which is kind of the worrying sign for Team Flash. They do not have Zissou online, which gives JDG a pretty significant advantage as we're back into the action. 20 seconds away from this Infernal Dragon. It is JDG's fight to lose, and Team Flash have to fight it despite that advantage.
Yeah, you can see that Zissou is trying to farm out the last bit of camps right before the Dragon is forced to spawn. JDG is not quite in position yet, but Xingdo has started up the Dragon early, and as long as no one approaches, Zissou's on the other side of the map.
Yeah, Team Flash aren't even trying to get this Dragon. They're playing through the split lane. They're trying to get Zissou as much gold as possible, and they're going to be capped at exactly one turret. They get the top lane turret, some gold into Zissou's pocket. That's, as I said, about 1,000 gold worth of damage stats in JDG's pocket in trade. That is not a good trade deal.
Unless you're JDG.
Correct. Team Flash, on the other hand, got ripped off. They're going to be behind in late game scaling. You see, 2,000-3,000 gold lead at the top of the screen. Add another 1,000 to that. This looks very good for JDG right now. Team Flash still waiting on that wit's end third item completion for Zissou.
Yeah.
Cannot fight before then.
With the Infernal Dragon on their side, it puts them at roughly about 4,000 gold worth of stats ahead of Team Flash. JDG favored in team fights if one were to erupt in a 5-on-5 situation. Team Flash, if they take one, it is going to come down to how Coyote approaches this fight. It can't be through the front door. He's got to look for the side flanks.
He's got to climb over the garden fence. Squat in their flowers for a bit.
Wait for his moment to strike.
Steal some of their carrots.
Not the carrots, dude. That's rude.
It's a Lord of the Rings reference.
Team Flash setting up the defenses right now on the outer perimeter of their base. It is one line of towers that separates JDG and the inhibitors.
And look at how JDG are playing this perfectly. Zoning Team Flash out of their own jungle, maintaining this vision line, dropping all these aggressive wards.
Oh, Zissou going aggressive, forcing JoJo
He's
to
on
flash on the wall.
islands.
And now it is isolation for Lemon. He's all alone. Team Flash connecting and continuing the chase. He brings Shy another taunt flash right onto the back line. Double kill for Zissou. And you said it, TJ, they're still going. Xingdo has already left the party. He no longer wants to be a part of it. He's on the right side of the map trying to steal some camps.
3 kills for Team Flash. And just as last game, they are suddenly right back in it.
Xingdo wants to re-engage with Doki. He's already gotten the big knockup, but taunt from Shy locks down Xingdo. Doesn't even get a chance to take down anyone. And Doki has engaged, but has no damage follow-up because the bug has been taken out by Shy.
And it is an item early for Zissou. He does not have his lifesteal yet, but they correctly understand that JDG are going to grind out the game. And so when the Rift Herald is summoned a little bit prematurely, when they know that JDG are still a little spread out in their own jungle, take a look at this positioning. Several members too far down on the map. They see, in particular, the Kha'Zix Xingdo on that turret in the bottom lane, and Team Flash pulled the trigger. They say this is a 5v4 at least, and that is the best fight we are going to get, and it is perfect execution. Snowballing the front line, leaving that Garen out to dry, and focusing the Garen, and then working their way forward. Yes, it's a 5v4 on the napkin math, but in that team fight, it was 5v1, followed by 5v1, followed by 5v1, and it was Team Flash picking up 3 kills in a row.
And you can see the frustration from JDG's coach in the replay, just watching that fight unfold. I imagine that it was after the re-engage from Doki and Xingdo trying to see if they could catch any stragglers, but the way Team Flash were able to regroup so quickly, JDG caught unaware once again, and now this time, that golden that they had, it was about 3,000. It is shriveled down to 1,000.
That's like my garden plants. The one you have on the window, and you look up one day and it's only got 1,000 gold. You're like, what happened? I watered it every day.
Must have not watered it continuously, TJ.
I got over-aggressive with the Rift Herald. Didn't check that my team was behind me, and the plant died. And now Baron's on the map. Now Team Flash are in striking distance with Wit's End complete on Zissou, giving him a ton of lifesteal in these team fights.
And check this out. Coyotes completing Sorello's Grudge now allows him to have the power.
Check that out! It's sick, Mark!
Yeah. It allows him to be able to take on even the toughest opponent, which will be Lemon with that Hull Breaker with all the armor and the health stats.
Yeah, we saw it in the last fight. Lemon get isolated and burned down. He doesn't have the mobility. Wow, he's just dead.
Yeah, Doki has no way out of this one. Not even a flash. It's too late. Mega Inferno Bomb does nothing to stop Team Flash in its tracks.
Lemon doesn't have the mobility to dodge these engages, so if the rest of the team retreats, Lemon's going to be left out in front. Now, he's a Garen, he's building tank HP. Normally, that's not a problem, but as you correctly identified, Sorello's Grudge gives the Zed armor penetration, gets through that dead man's plate, finds that kill anyway.
And another big fault for Garen, if they are separated from their teammates, if they've already used their first ability, if you get slowed, there's no way out.
Yeah, man. Lemon already called out once, now trying to be that mobile ward.
Coyote,
Stand United.
Okay, but Shy is there to assist him into the back line. Stand United and Deathmark used cohesively. They've already taken out Cho. That's a major part of the damage for JDG. It is up to Shingo to see if he can get any resets, but he can't get into the fight anymore. He's just trying to hide and look for a red buff, but Zissou forces him out of the jungle. They turn to the dragon. 2
games in a row. Team Flash play around the swing perfectly. Zissou comes online, and the entire team, as Oma likes to say, all 4 players enable 1. And this Jax has bought another game win for Team Flash, unless JDG are able to find the perfect team fight.
And it's got to start with finding a way to stop this Zed from being able to consistently take out the main backline damage source, TJ.
They've got to find a way to protect Cho in the early stages of these fights. For me, huge marker on Doki in that fight. Needs to be standing on top of Cho so that when the engage comes through, it's easy to land an instant pulverize, knock that Zed up, and buy time for the team to punish him, scare him away. If you can waste Zed cooldowns early in a fight, very winnable. If you can protect Cho early in a fight, it's very winnable. But repeatedly, Team Flash have managed to isolate that backline. And in this game, JDG are not getting team fights that they want. They are taking every fight on Team Flash's terms, which is a strong indication of who is running the map right now.
And preemptively using engage tools that should be used to disengage threats away from your backline. Once Che's gone,
into the pit.
It is going to be so difficult for JDG.
Zissou
already finding JDG, the heart of them all. Stand United, giving Zissou the extra assistance to transcend into Braves. It doesn't even matter. Team Flash are devouring JDG's jungler alive.
Shingo's gone, as you say. Baron's on the map.
Team Flash continue the assault, looking for more. Zissou still has a GA, but he pops the stasis to ensure that he doesn't burn it quite yet. It is Shy, it is Empty, and Ellie continuing the chase. They go for another knockup, landing the damage down. Ellie burning them down to a crisp. Empty finishes it off.
And Team Flash own this game. The entire time, Coyote is doing what we said he would do.
Split push, baby. And the death mark comes out. Lemon has to walk away, does not want to get popped.
It's a Garen. This Baron burns Zissou. Quite wisely sitting defensive in that fight. You could see him resetting before the fight was even finished because he knows his role is to be full HP at the beginning of it. And yeah, your noise. Can you give me it again?
Woo!
It's a great demonstration of how much damage Ellie is doing in these fights. We flagged him on the Lux last game. Here's the advantage of the Morgana. Consistent, sustained damage. If everyone is focused around your front line, if everyone is trying to kill your Jax, hypothetically, you can drop these dark pools and just cook people. Just raise the temperature in the pot, boil the frog.
Damn, that's good imagery, TJ.
Well, it's the thing, supposedly you can raise the temperature in the pot gradually and frogs don't notice they're being cooked.
Oh! You know what, TJ? I'm going to give you another imagery. What about an assassin just squashing a bug?
Yeah, sure. Stepping on the frog.
Damn. Team Flash continuing the push. They have the Baron buff on their side, pushing through the mid lane and the top lane, and even through the bottom lane as Shy is corralling a minion wave while the rest of Team Flash go to work.
And we've seen twice now Cho try to land these Mega Inferno Bombs onto Zissou. He just jumps out. Now he's caught out.
Shy is called to the front line, and it's
in the middle of the team fight? That's a little wild. You could see Team Flash kind of giggling at that. I don't think it's going to change anything. But a technical pause does come through. JDG very likely on the brink of losing their second game of this series.
It would be the first time any team has taken a second consecutive game off of JDG this entire tournament, TJ.
True. JDG have been nigh on unbeatable up to this point. And after Team Flash is quite ooh. Wow. Give us another look.
Pose. Whoa! Talk to him! Let him know, Coyote!
And after their performance versus Nova Esports, many people doubted whether or not Team Flash would be the team to do it. Here they are, back in the form that led to them being undefeated in the WCS playoffs, in the regional playoffs. They were undefeated from the entire time they entered the Vietnamese playoffs till the time they graduated in first place out of the WCS SEA Super Region playoffs. And they looked shaky. Zissou gave a little bit too much respect to Long. We're back.
And you know what that form looks like when they are back on their groove?
No, tell me.
Exactly that. They're grooving.
Oh.
They're vibing.
I don't know. I thought there was going to be a different word in there.
No. Gotta keep you on your toes, TJ. I mean, you saw Coyote grooving in his chair, vibing on the Assassin, on the Zed. Back-to-back games of split push duty.
I was trying to find the look for it. It's the blue steel. That's the word for it. Ooh, that's the reference. The Coyote was hitting.
Coyote taking a quick sip after completely demolishing some of the members of JDG in the split push.
I actually have that cup. Can we bring the camera here for a moment? So, over the course of this tournament at this venue, I have realized that the actual coffee cups that you can get are a little bit underwhelming. They're like tiny. And so I've done something unforgivable, and I have stolen one of the player cups, this Icons branded player cup, because it is the biggest cup available. And let me tell you, it is delivering for me. This is the quantity of tea that I need to get me through a best of 3 series. And it's only available with Icons official paper cups.
You're a great salesman, TJ.
Would you like one?
I'm good, but thank you. I got my Dasani water.
Ah. I think the advantage, too, is that they made all the cups that you can get that don't have the Icons branding on them really small, so that everyone chooses to have an Icons cup. Everyone thinks they're making a choice, but it's all been planned out for them. It's marketing. Genius. Everyone thinks they're making a choice. They're like, oh man, I'm going to get the bigger cup. I'm so smart. And then what are they doing? They're representing the Icons brand on the main stage.
Bam.
Bam.
Team Flash in a great position to close out this second game. And I want to talk about the implications.
Oh, we're back on topic. Okay.
Because this is...
I was good to do another 10 minutes or so about paper cups.
You know what? We'll save that if we're in the technical pause for any longer. But I do want to...
Sure, okay. You go on topic, and then we'll go back to paper cups.
Yeah, that's right. But to refresh ourselves for those who are tuning in, technical pause time, Team Flash on the verge of cleaning out Game 2. Bar a miracle from JDG being able to capitalize on a over-aggressive mistake from Team Flash. The implications of leading 2-0 against JDG in a single elimination knockout bracket, where JDG, for the first time, would not only lose a series, but also have no way back into the tournament. How do JDG recover going into Game 3?
I don't know if you recover mentally from being on match point, because if you remember the promos, Doki's looking straight into the camera and saying our only real competition is other WRL teams. Not the case! And if you, and I don't know how much that is trash talk. Doki, as we have talked about, is quite obviously a meme lord.
Yeah.
So,
which I love.
Which I love for him. I don't know how much of that is trash talk. I don't know how much of that is genuine belief. But if you come into this series thinking that you are one of the best teams at the event and Team Flash are going to be easy, and then you're down 2 games as it looks like they're about to be, I don't know how you dial yourself back in mentally. I can tell you one thing they could do.
What's that?
I'm so happy you asked. I'm stalling for time, so we're making every interaction as long as possible. So I'm going to do it again. You ready?
Okay,
I can tell you one thing they would do.
What would they do?
That was good. That was
Shades.
like 4 or 5 were great. I think that they could change up the draft. And I think so far what we've seen from JDG has been a very consistent style of pick, where it's all about, we've got the Ziggs in the back line, we can kind of do anything. The Karma's enabling our front line. We don't have too much front line. That is a really solid mid lane composition if you're going to win every lane. Thing is, not winning every lane.
Yeah.
Team Flash are in fact taking jungle picks away from you, increasingly winning that dragon lane matchup. So what needs to happen is a more focused composition. And if you want to stay with the power of the Ziggs in the backline, which I think has been working out for them, then you need more tanks to defend that Ziggs.
Yeah.
If you want to play through the power of a Karma engage, you know, you keep getting Karma. Karma's really strong. Karma best works when enabling characters like Riven, like Jax, who can jump into the front lines. So I think JDG are kind of planning on mechanics checking Team Flash.
Yeah.
And as Riku told me 3 weeks ago, the thing that Team Flash do really well is win mechanics checks. And we have seen that so far this series. And so we're going to need to see a little bit more focused of a spear tip for JDG in a future draft.
And it definitely makes sense, too, because JDG, every time they've grabbed the Karma, they immediately pair it with Kha'Zix and Ziggs, which we know that Kha'Zix Ziggs as a duo core,
That's great.
it's fantastic. You chunk them out, and then boom, stragglers have to flee the scene, and then boom, there's a bug that is picking off people that are isolated. But a Kha'Zix can't jump into a crowd and a swarm of people. You're not getting the isolation damage off, even if you have empowered shields from Karma.
Right. So the Karma is kind of from a different composition, right? The Karma is really good when you have beefy frontline characters who build these consistent fights, where you have like a really extended team fight, and the Karma can just keep pumping out shields, keep giving buffs. And what we instead have, or alternatively really lightweight engage comps, and the Karma works with them because you speed boost the lightweight engage. So like either of those work, but the Karma doesn't work with frontline boost Ziggs, which is the composition they're running. And you see this style of composition, I call it a fortress composition.
Yeah.
You see it also with Varus's quite often, Varusai, where you have the Varus or the Ziggs in the backline, and they do poke damage over a period of time, cause a lot of low HP targets. Your tanks build time for them to do that, and then you have a Kha'Zix who can jump in and finish those kills. And that composition does not include a Karma.
Yeah.
So we're getting the Karma for JDG because they're like, oh, this is a really good champion, but it does not work with their composition. And you get away with that in a game where you're like better than the other team, but JD Gaming are on par with Team Flash, and they are losing these mechanical fights.
And this is the reality check that JDG are getting. In the prior series against Rolster Y,
We're back!
against Liberty,
That was such a good job. Didn't have to talk about paper cups again.
JDG, it seems that they have finally met a worthy opponent that will take them the full distance. Team Flash on the verge of cleaning out game 2. Coyote onto the backline. Demacian Justice only takes out one and empty, but the rest of Team Flash, they are still strong in numbers. We're literally on the Nexus. Come on, man.
If it's JD Gaming who are posing, I gotta say this is a solve the tech issue next game. It makes sense. I'm memeing, but it makes sense that you get the pause. Make sure that everything's working for you.
If you can, it's better to solve the issue now than later.
100%. It's just the fan in me is freaking out. So anyway, paper cups.
Back to the paper cups again, I see.
I don't have anything else to talk about with regards to paper cups. I think
What kind of grip is it?
You know, it actually super does. Normally, you have like the coffee things on them that stop the heat from getting into your hands.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: this entire cup is like made out of it. It's got an extra layer. These are high quality paper cups. I did have something else to say about paper cups.
Thanks, Icon. Paying for the good premium stuff
Yeah,
for
dude.
us. Hell yeah. JDG, this is a team
Oh, we're back on top.
that I think it's a good balance. Just making sure that because if anyone tunes in,
Minute of paper cups, minute of analysis, back and forth.
gotta keep everyone on their toes.
You never know what's coming next.
That's right. JDG, this was a team that went against Fun Plus Phoenix in the WRL playoffs, finished out as the 2nd seed coming into this tournament. Many fans from around the world had high expectations. perhaps seeing them once again return to the grand finals of this stage. For them going down potentially 0-2 in their quarterfinal series, not even semifinals, would be a massive upset.
Yeah, and I think it speaks well for Team Flash that they're doing this, but this is also a pretty good matchup for Team Flash. I think 0-7-11 over on FPX and Long over on Nova Esports are both really oppressive junglers that, in kind of contrasting ways, 0-7-11 much more the defensive kind of lane aid jungler who will be there to support his lanes. Long, as we've all seen, the king of the jungle, the son of the dragon, playing really aggressively. But both those teams are kind of built around their junglers. That's much less the case for Jingdo and JDG, though obviously they do play to their jungler. They're one of the WRL teams that is the meta, but it's much less the case. So I think it's a good matchup for Zissou to kind of find his bearings again.
I would say that for JDG, when you look back at some of the MVP performances throughout the playoff season, while Jingdo definitely had his fair share, a lot of the stellar performances was from Lemon in the Baron lane. And both of these games, he's on Garen.
He's on Garen and he's playing into Shen. And it does not get less, like, exciting than that. That's the wrong word. It's very difficult to influence the map in that matchup.
Dude, we saw Lemon early on in the play-in stage dunking on kids with Renekton, with Riven.
Yeah, and
Where is that?
You can play Garen carry, but if you're into Shen, every time you make it scary, he's just going to run away. He has so much HP. He has the ability to teleport away from the fight if it really gets sketchy. And critically, as we've seen multiple times, Team Flash recognized that Lemon's scary, and every time he might have the opportunity to get a kill, there's a rotate, there's a teammate there to back him up.
Yeah.
Do you want to go back to paper cups?
No, I really want to
So there are
build
two
up Lemon.
kinds of tea that they're offering in the, like, cafeteria area out front. And they have the, like, Lipton teas, which are, like, kind of the hotel teas that you see everywhere, and they don't taste great. And then they have a, just, like, pitcher that it says tea on it. And you walk up and you say, give me some tea. And they pour out some tea and they hand it to you. And I don't know what kind of tea that is, but it's good. It's the mystery tea.
It's Icons tea, baby.
And that's what's in my paper cup. To bring it full circle, bring it back to what the viewers are invested in. My paper cup in front of me is full of the mystery Icons tea. The gestures don't work, Mark. You're not on camera.
It's okay. I'm communicating with the audience telepathically.
Sure do.
You don't believe me.
No. Unless you're the, like, waves coming out from the stage. I'm still appreciating the beauty of our stage here.
Dude, when we first got here and we couldn't, like, you know, tweet out photos or videos of the stage, I remember walking around the studio and literally falling to my knees when I saw the stage.
Yeah, it must have been crazy to be here on the first day. Because, I was still on a plane then. Must have been crazy to be here.
That. It's been 3 weeks.
Really rubbing that in, aren't you, Mark?
No. That was not my intention, TJ. You weren't scheduled for the first day. I'm sorry.
Sorry, you were about to say something very nice about our stage.
It was beautiful.
It was.
It
now
is.
that we've got all the AR stuff with the champions appearing on it as well.
That's... I actually had a not a conversation. I got messages from one of our...
That's a conversation. It's a digital conversation.
Well, see, okay, well, the thing is that it's through an account that I can't access because it's locked out on my phone, but I still get messages on it.
Oh, sure, so they were telling you things.
Yeah, and I can't respond. So this is me responding to my homeboy Michael on the production side.
That's good.
Michael was
if
throwing
you can
up.
Hear this.
Yeah, if you can hear
Somebody
this.
tap Michael on the shoulder.
AKA Deef Erickson. They were showing when Akali was locked in yesterday. Akali's augmented reality spawn is her eating a bowl of ramen, and
really?
he wanted me to see it. He's like, "Look at that! That's so cool!" And he's like, "But you instead got caught up by the fact that Ash Mid was locked." And I was like, "Yeah, because Ash Mid is cool. I'm sorry."
And this is you saying that now. He's never heard this before, but someone in the production room has tapped him on the shoulder, and now he's gotten your message.
Michael, I'm sorry for not seeing the Akali eating ramen on the augmented reality feed.
Message Mark's new account. It is Rafa, and then the #, the hashtag. 6387.
That's not it at all.
Yeah,
No, it's not.
He's checking.
Well, you said it so convincing. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not it, is it? When did you look at my phone? TJ just figuring out my account login information. Okay, thank God that wasn't the number.
You would be getting so many messages.
Dude, I would have had to leave the cast and change everything.
The other thing I've been really impressed by is how it keeps growing. Like the first couple of days we had the stage and it was really pretty.
Yeah.
And then we got the champions. And now we've got the like
waves.
zappy field of static energy out
What's
front.
next?
And the coach rooms, the camera shot on the coach rooms is new as well.
Oh yeah. So check this out, guys.
You can't reveal the secret.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Coach rooms are a secret. There's a little bit of special sauce.
Can't reveal it quite yet. Maybe after the tournament. Oh, I think that's it.
Can we watch this next explode?
Yeah! All right, here's the call. Here's the soundbite. Team Flash take out JDG in Game 2 and advance to match point.
Now go back in and edit that over the Nexus exploding so it sounds like we didn't have a pause right as it was exploding. You're doing work for the video editors, Mark. Team Flash looking good 2 games in a row, playing to their win condition. And this puts them, as you said, 2-0 up over Team Flash. A dominant performance thus far, and a badly needed one for the WCS today.
And to be honest, CJ, I was not expecting a 2-0 start from Team Flash.
Mark.
What's up?
I'm looking at my palms.
Oh.
I'm looking at my hands.
Wait. We need to bring Digon on screen.
Digon.
Digon.
I've got a series on my hands.
Can I respond to that? It's not a series if it's gonna be a trio.
Almost did so good. Almost did so
You had to
good.
wait like
you
just
angry DMs.
one game.
We were saying in the back,
Got impatient.
does Omo have the patience and the discipline to not curse
Trio.
this 2-0?
Easy.
Oh,
You've already done enough.
no!
You've already done enough.
All right,
But I
all right,
believe.
all right. The superstition,
Okay.
the superstition
We're good, yeah.
is now already the black cat is out of the bag. Walked under some ladders, broken some mirrors, and Omo has now thrown out the curse. But the play of Team Flash have earned themselves a 2-0 on their own merit, and it's been dominant, we could say.
Yeah, I think the fact that we're seeing a very similar draft, the same. Zisu's like, I'm gonna take a nap first, guys. You guys discuss what you guys want to do at game number 3. I'm listening with my eyes closed.
Everyone's just looking at him.
That's a mood. That's a mood right there.
That is also a mood right there.
Yeah, that's true.
JDG camp.
Yeah, the opposite side, we saw a couple of coaches' cams during the game where hands in face being like, this is not the series I want on our hands. It's going to be the come-from-behind requirement here for JDG as we take a look at the highlights. And early on, the focus was on the mid lane. Coyote did a great job escaping deaths in game number 1. Not so good on the first couple of attempts here by JDG. He goes down. But here it is, the classic Coyote escape with 1 HP, gets away. And then the key to the composition, it's Shy on the Shen with these flash taunts and making it look like it's so easy, Omo.
Yeah, he's clipping them at the tip of the flash taunts every single time. Shy is so on point mechanically with this champion. In the last game, we talked about how JDG identified that Jace was a problem. We all disagree, right? We all feel like it's Jax and Shen that's the problem, right?
100%. Like, when we look at how JDG operates, it is, again, Singdo being the primary carry and the rest supports him to make sure that he carries the game, right? But all these picks, Shen, Jax, are big answers against Singdo, who's always going to be on an AD carry. Look, Spirit Refuge, I'm going to remove your AD damage. You've got Counter-Strike as well against AD. So you basically nullify Singdo whenever he wants to fight you. He wants to kill you with his accumulation of gold. And this is just so smart from Team Flash. So now what I want to see on the adaptation, yes, ban the Jax, but what's going to happen? You chip Singdo's own champion pool, because when we look at the WRL, his best picks are Jax and Kha'Zix. Both of these 2 picks, you're cornering yourself.
Yeah, it's going to be a big requirement for the kill leader here in the tournament in Xingdol to go deep here because Kha'Zix has not been the answer. I feel like the Karma has not been the answer, and I asked for it. We needed to see Empty look more like Fully on this Rakan. Definitely has. Great engages, several picks that then led to the pressure that forced JDG in these awkward situations.
Yeah, really great performance coming in from him on the Galio as well, now on the Rakan as well. Empty has definitely stepped up big time today. I think Ali has been doing a pretty good job himself as well. Hasn't really needed to do all too much, but that's Team Flash. When Zissou steps up, when Shy steps up, when Coyote steps up, the bot lane can kind of chill and just do their jobs, and this is the Team Flash that we expected to see.
And with JDG not experiencing a series loss throughout the tournament, none of the WRL teams
None.
have. JDG, all of a sudden, backs on the wall, has to win. Not even the series, but specifically the game. Just game at a time. Otherwise, it is the biggest upset in Wild Rift Esports history happening right now. Is it upset? The #1 team for the WCS? I will say yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is, because these WRL squads have looked good. Team Flash have fallen to a WRL squad already, but they look like a team transformed here, Riku.
They seem very confident. The fact that they're throwing emotes here and there, they're smiling. You see Coyote doing, 3-0. Wait, no, 3-0. Not 4-0. Maybe a little bit of preview of the future. Maybe not.
You're
Anyway.
not doing it cool enough. He was like swagging back. He was just like,
No, let me do it. Let me do it. It's too
you gotta
late.
be cool.
It's too late. You
So
did
you're
it.
trying to mimic what Coyote was doing. That's
Like
all.
this.
Right.
Like,
No, you're not cool enough.
wow,
Wow,
hey.
that was messed up.
Okay, you know what?
Riku,
Never
you're
mind.
cool enough.
I'll be cool in the next game for sure.
Okay.
That's a promise.
All right, well, here you have
Next
it.
game? Oh yeah, there's one more game.
There's one more game. Come on.
Math doesn't check out.
All right, hey. Team Flash are up 2-0 because we played 2 games so far, Omo. Here's how they did it in our HyperX call of the game.
Gonna be so difficult for JDG.
Zissou.
Zissou already finding JDG, the heart of them all. Stand united, giving Zissou
Whoa.
the extra assistance,
He's
the
got one
transcendent
already.
embrace. It doesn't even matter. Team Flash are devouring JDG's jungler alive.
It's game 3, and Team Flash are just 1 win away from taking the first series off of JDG and eliminating them from the knockout stage.
On the brink of advancing to the semifinals as well, the lone WCS team remaining in this tournament, TJ, Team Flash, match point.
It's that elimination point, I hear.
Ooh.
We're getting into the draft for game 3 as we speak. I got a new cup of tea. This Icon's cup is full, and that's just about the same level of our matches. Full to the brink, spilling over with good gameplay.
Team Flash at least bring in the fire this time around, full in the tank. JDG left to be seen. They need to turn up the heat here.
A little bit dangerous. I filled the cup a little bit too much. Might spill over onto my hands.
Oh no. We don't
I'm
want
scared
that.
to pick this up while broadcasting. And that's how this game is too.
JDG, I want to see what new look they can show us when their backs are against the wall for the very first time in this Icons tournament. Because when you consider and look back at all the previous series, even when it was 1-1, they still had a second life. No longer that is the case.
I took a sip and now the level is down far enough that I'm not worried anymore. We're going to be getting into this chat for JDG. We asked big questions. Oh, they're bouncing. We asked big questions. We said, can JDG clean up their draft? The second place team out of the WRL, out of China. Big expectations on them. And can they meet those with a pointed draft? As it has become clear that they cannot win the mechanics checks against Team Flash, the undefeated best team out of the WCS, that is SEA, the second Vietnamese representatives to ever grace our international stage. And at this rate, Mark, the most successful Vietnamese representatives to ever grace our international stage. They were prophesized by many SEA analysts to be contenders for the World Championship.
That's right.
And I think as we head into this draft, they have proven why. One game away from eliminating JDG from the knockout stage here at Icons.
And one game away to clocking a ticket into the semifinals.
Semifinals!
Where J-Team awaits them on the other side.
Ooh! Seeing Flash over here on the blue side start things off with the Camille ban, JDG getting red side.
Yeah, that means they elected the red side. So this means that whatever happens at the end of the ban round, JDG are electing to take 2 power picks on the flip.
Singed banned out by Team Flash, demonstrating an awareness of JDG's favorite picks. It's followed by Santa Karma over on the JDG
No
side.
more Karma.
Playing on the red side means that you need to eliminate more of those power picks, more of those overpowered champions, because Team Flash will be able to first pick, have their pick of the litter. Wow!
Oh, Team Flash, they read what JDG wanted to set up for, and they say, no, you cannot get the Jax on the return end.
They have just banned out the JDG comfort composition. Lemon's Camille, Jojo's Singed, Jing does Jax. Ban, ban, ban. That is JDG's favorite characters removed from the game. JDG on the opposite side removed.
Do I see
everything that's so scary?
A Corki Jace?
Could be an Ash here from TF.
True.
Could
Ash.
be Coyote getting right in there.
It's the Jace.
Jace.
We saw Coyote, even though the early game did not net them a lead, it was what netted them the Game 1 win in a backdoor that shocked the entire world.
And I'm kind of surprised by the priority from Team Flash, because that indicates they think JDG are to contest it. I raised that there could be an Ashe here. That is less likely. We've only ever seen the Team Flash Ashe played by Coyote. While Jace is a flex pick, could go in multiple lanes, frankly, we expect it to be in that mid lane. So the Ashe unlikely here. JDG get the Corki instead, very high priority across this tournament.
Yeah.
Frankly, I think a better pick than the Jace to start things off.
Yeah. I think most of the other teams would agree with you that have played out their quarterfinal matches, and this
is really good.
Yeah, this is a complete flip of a switch for JDG. No longer the Kha'Zix Ziggs core setup. We're now going hyper-aggressive with this Lee Sin.
He kicked me.
Gotta be careful for that Dragon's Rage, TJ.
I
Roundhouse
got
kick.
thrown across the casting desk.
Literally.
Team Flash looking for a jungler here in the first rotation, because Zissou is going to be banned out if they do not pick it up. There it is, the Wukong. A scaling pick able to be present in the late game, probably played here in the jungle, could also be flexed to Shy, still maintaining that flexibility in their draft. And also, I think, looking for a Coyote pick. I would be surprised if we don't get something that can be flexed mid, and there it is in the Morgana. Morgana, very high priority after last game played by Ellie. However,
Fantastic.
if Coyote gets focused in the ban, then they will play it there instead.
There's some options now. JDG still locking down the Ziggs for Ched. This does mean that Corki will be going over to Jojo in the mid lane. Can match up against the Jace early on, can match Hull Breakers as well, so that there's a bit of a handshake when it comes to the split push. But the Corki will always be powerful when it comes to the objective fights with that package.
However, we talked about the power of this Ziggs in the backline and how it's typically played with the Fortress composition. Yet again, JDG are building a composition that relies on getting a gold lead. It does not have the role tanks of the typical Fortress composition built around Ziggs. They have Lee Sin to clean up kills, but they've got Ziggs and Corki. Ziggs and Corki cannot be the solid front line. Both of them require tanks to play around. That will be the final 2 picks here for JDG, which is why Team Flash are already banning out engage bruisers, targeting the Riven, things with stuns that can lead off team fights. I expect the Alistair to be on that list as well.
And my question is, do Team Flash respect Lemon's Renekton? Something that we have seen been such a versatile force.
You're so much better of an analyst than me. I thought they were going to ban out the Alistair. It is instead the Renekton prioritized. Lemon targeted by both those bans. Doki, I guess, not considered a threat. Lemon now needs to pick his top lane character. You expect something tanky. It could be this Gragas in the top side. That could also be the Doki pick, preserving that flexibility.
JDG keeping their cards hidden until the very last pick. Team Flash now have to round out their composition and have to decide if this Jace is going into the mid lane, if this Wukong is going to the jungle, or vice versa.
I love this Braum pick from Empty. It's going to give them the tools to deny a full engage from the Gragas. It's going to give them the tools to deny the range spam from Lemon. And they do get Zizou the Kha'Zix, which means that this Wukong is flipped over into the top side. They preserve that till the final pick, meaning that they'll have a matchup at any point during the game. And there it is, a Lemon power pick. He has dueling potential. He has carry potential. At long last, JDG take Lemon out of Garen jail and say, we're at match point. Our hopes rest upon the top lane.
It is coming down to the 1v9 montage material that Lemon will have to pull out in these team fights. The burst damage from Ziggs, the consistent artillery fire from JoJo will all give Lemon the tools so that he can finish them off with the Noxian Guillotine.
Yet again, JDG has drafted a mechanics check composition. This draft is going to be at its best when they are winning their lanes, when they are finding kills by themselves in the side of the map, and that means that they've got to win those duels early. This match is going to start and rest upon the players finding fights and winning them in the first 5 minutes.
And Xingdo, a big task is called upon to him.
He's playing Lee Sin.
You have got to find the early snowball with this champion. We know that Lee Sin and the hands of some junglers like Long can still make Lee Sin look like an absolute god, even in the late game. But you are tasked with snowballing your carries this game. You must get them the gold lead.
Team Flash promised a 3-0. JDG answer by going back to the comfort food. If they're facing elimination, they want to do it on the champions they know they can win lanes on, win 1v1s on, and here they go. Tournament lives on the line.
Already Doki and Che assuming battle positions in the bottom lane. And Xingdo, all eyes are going to be glued to the Lee Sin to see where his pathing goes. He has to explode in the first couple of minutes in this game.
I look at level 3 as the marker for Lee Sin. Unlike many champions, he doesn't need his ultimate to be deadly.
Yes.
And that is a massive power point. You can show up in lane while everyone is level 3. Nobody has their ultimates to defend against you. So I want to see that from Xingdo.
Lemon already taking advantage of the level 2 spike. Shy getting out of harm's way before facing a very characteristic Lemon all in at the level 2 mark. We've seen him do it so many times on champions in the past.
Big man, big axe, run from that. Lemon, known in the WRL as the carry of this team, known as the best top laner in China. Here we go, his chance to prove it single-handedly, trying to dig deep and keep his team alive internationally.
Lemon already getting chunks down onto
wave.
Shy. He is prepping this wave. Xingdo is
Here
here
we go.
on time. If they get this dive off, if they
Level
get Lemon
3.
off to the races, this is JDG's game to win and set off. Xingdo lands the Sonic Wave. Shy tries to flash away, but Lemon tanks the turret beautifully, and first blood is awarded to JDG.
It is clinical from JDG. That is perfect play, built around Lemon, manifesting this giant wave in the top lane, carrying it through so that it's very dicey defense for Shy. He can't do anything, and Xingdo arrives exactly on time for a free kill. 1 kill up, 1,000 gold up to JDG.
And now the challenge is, how can Team Flash recover these resources here? We take a look back at the dive.
Check out how Lemon starts that by autoing. He has barrier, he has less damage early, so it makes sense for him to be tanking the turret. He gets the auto, so the turret is focusing him, and then after using all of his spells, after spending his cooldowns, he stands at the very edge of the turret's range, so that once his HP goes to 0, he can step out of the turret, not die to it, but can tank for as long as necessary.
Maximizing the time that Xingdo can get under the tower to knock out Shy for first blood. And we already have a roam, a repeat visit. This time it's from Doki. He's the one tagging in.
We talked about how this was the Lemon show. Could not be clearer. Thing is, Team Flash know about it. Empty, Zissou roaming up to match, aware that Shy is going to be getting bullied here.
But they don't know that Doki is here. They can play this out right.
Doki has his ultimate. He can use that explosive cast to knock Shy into a dangerous position, but he is baited by the clone. Now here comes Jojo.
But it's a 4-on-2 now. Suddenly, Team Flash have to move quick. They've got reinforcements. Can JDG clean this up before the rest of the members come in? One is already gone from Shy. Empty falls as well. And by the time Team Flash reinforcements arrive, it is too late.
JDG, their initial plan doesn't work, so they bring more members over. Because the only lane that matters on this map is Lemon's lane.
Twice on the Garen. He played the weak side. He absorbed pressure as needed for his team. In Game 3, where it matters most, where they're on the brink of elimination, it is Lemon that they play to for his success in the early game.
And he plays it perfectly here, unfortunately not getting the guillotine kill. I think it was stolen from him by Xingdo, which is a little unfortunate. Optimal play here is giving Lemon these early kills so he gets maximum gold. But he's still, of course, crushing the gold of anyone over on Team Flash. And that is the desired outcome, giving them a massive teamfight star heading into these first objectives, which are, of course, going to be the Dragon, Infernal at the bottom side of the map, and Rift Herald up top.
Normally, I would agree. Xingdo getting early gold, though, is great, because now you are snowballing with this Lee Sin, and with a Yuma's Ghostblade online this early, he can do massive damage.
Other things to mention here, Team Flash playing defense normally have gotten the Dragon in trade for Rift Herald. JDG, particularly Xingdo, really prioritize the Rift Herald. Here's an interesting question. Do they go for this Infernal Drake? Infernal Drake will be the objective that Team Flash want, so if Xingdo and JDG can intercept them, fight them over this Infernal Drake,
yeah,
they will maybe be able to get both objectives.
And they have a 2,000 gold lead, so why not challenge Team Flash, smack him with the thicker wallets?
But JDG, of course, really good at using that Rift Herald to force map pressure. The threat of it often getting them additional turrets on top of what that Infernal Drake does get.
Zissou's trying to sneak it.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's gonna be sought out here, and the package from Jojo. Already explosive cast used by Doki, separating the fight. Package comes in, intercepts, but it is still Zissou that secures the Dragon before Xingdo can get into the pit and intercept. Already, Zissou is actually cleaning up kills on the left side of the flank. Xingdo can't get in.
Yeah, Jojo on the package goes over the Dragon Pit wall. I don't think that was intentional. He went too far and got shut down by Ellie. The ultimate chains of corruption locking him down, and then Zissou swoops in for the burst damage needed to complete the kill. End of the fight, Team Flash have almost completely reversed the early game pressure. They get the Infernal Drake and a chance at fighting this Rift Herald and a kill onto Jojo.
Going into that fight, Xingdo had a solid 1,000 gold lead over the Kazakhs. That gold lead, it is gone, and Zissou is online.
A massive team fight from Team Flash because JDG wanted to maximize their advantage, wanted to get as much as possible from their gold lead. They made the right call, they messed up the team fight, and now Team Flash get to swing at them 50-50, even gold for this Rift Herald.
And no package available this time around, which would have been a powerful team fighting tool. JDG, though, they're the first ones to start up the Rift Herald. Team Flash, yet to show a response.
Yeah, Team Flash maybe just say, hey, it's a handshake. We got a little bit better than we asked for. He's fine. Empty able to slide away. And so they accept the trade. Team Flash gambling on winning late game. They know the Lee Sin, the Darius will fall off a bit.
Oh, but the collapse on Zissou, forcing the flash out. Shy expends the Cyclone, disengaging the fight beautifully, but the turret is going down.
Dodges the resonating strike, the Sonic Wave, actually, from Xingdo there. Really good movement. They're going to try and get 2 charges out of this Rift Herald.
During this whole time, Coyote, split push duty once again on the Jace, was able to take a turret on the bottom side of the map. I think that was actually first brick before the Rift Herald secured. Oh, Coyote's in a world of hurt. Lemon using his gold advantage to great success to bleed out. Cool guys, don't look at Explosion TJ. He walks away and lets Coyote fall.
Knowing that Coyote maybe has a little bit more damage with that Conqueror.
Whoa! What a kick.
They got another one.
Not even a kick. It was just resonating strike. The damage, I'm telling you, man. When a Lee Sin snowballs this early, he's got quite the punch.
And so Team Flash gambled on having a late game. I don't know if they're going to get one. They absolutely do have the advantage if we go past the 15-minute mark. However, JDG are playing at their tempo, and that is trying to get as much gold onto Lemon as possible during the early game, and then using the fact that this Darius has an advantage in the mid-game to win teamfight after teamfight after teamfight.
A spark of life in JDG is finally resuscitated after 2 games where Team Flash taking control in the mid-game. JDG not being able to shut them down early enough. This time around, Xingdo, the task was put on him to snowball the early game. So far, he is delivering.
Some jungle stolen away here by Zissou. Team Flash trying to reach the late game by minimizing the amount of gold that can be picked up by Xingdo, picked up by Lemon, stealing away as much gold on the map as possible. Good response. Team Flash, a very cerebral team, aware of how they can win.
Oh, Shy, Doki as well with the explosive
Into
cast,
the
trying to
fight.
separate members. However, Zissou overwhelming them with absolute ferocity.
Huge pick!
Finally, Lemon goes down, and Doki has to bail.
Team Flash spot Lemon alone on the map, using that Wukong to face check. Shy can take those risks because he has the movement speed, the clones to disengage, and they find a massive pick, shutting down Lemon, taking away some of that early game team fight power, and the entire team rotated to do it.
TJ, bring out the cups.
Yes, boss.
Tell me about the cups, TJ.
This right here is a standard edition paper cup, a WRL Icons cup. As you can tell by the fact that I'm holding it with my bare hands, it's quite well heat insulated.
Ooh.
So despite the fact that I just got more mystery tea poured in,
Scalding hot.
scalding hot, a little bit painful to drink this early. My hands are perfectly isolated. It's got the icons, it's actually a sticker. And so that means that I don't actually know what's going on with the actual paper cup. I don't know what's underneath the sticker, because it's the icon sticker over the top of something.
Do you think that they went through every plain cup and just slapped a sticker on it?
Yeah, it was someone's job to put stickers on cups.
Shoutouts to the sticker person.
Shoutouts to the sticker person. It does sound like we've got some issues on stage, so it is being cleaned up during this time, and that may mean it's a little bit of a longer pause here. Do bear with us, as we want to make sure that this series gets closed out, extended, under the best possible competitive conditions.
Correct. JDG, at least in this Game 3, find themselves on a better footing overall. Team Flash, though, are not letting them take their lead without some fight back.
Yeah, it's going to be a very close game as it currently stands. JDG, though, are kind of running down a clock. Oh, don't push the camera away. That's the thing that's making you famous. Don't give it a side eye.
Dude, Zissou was talking about how he's like the most attractive person in District 7 from where they're from. You gotta have camera time. You gotta
Exactly.
show off.
Gotta prove it.
Yeah, that's right.
That's a man comfortable on camera. Winks, smiles.
Finger heart,
Yeah.
the 3-0, casual vibing in the seat.
On the other hand, pushing the camera away, that's kind of a bowler move. That's like, I don't need the camera.
Oh, you know what? Yeah. Oh,
Keep him in the frame!
yeah, Zissou's like, you can't get this for free, man. Paparazzi, get out of here.
And I think as we have a longer pause here, now is a great time to kind of talk about the stakes here, because we are going into semi-finals.
Yes.
And of the teams so far that have qualified, all 3 of the WRL teams did win their matches.
Nova Fun plus Phoenix, JT.
Wow, those are all 3 of the WRL teams.
Woo! Just wanted to make sure that everyone at the audience knows who
I
they are.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of blanking on J-Team.
You want to tell them that yourself?
Yeah, I'll admit it.
Oh!
But of the teams that have qualified so far, almost all of them play through their jungle, and that's kind of an interesting trend. Like, big picture, I think what we've learned at this tournament is that jungle is really important, and that failing that, the Baron lane is very important.
Yeah.
And that's really fun to me. Are you ready for the solo queue call out?
Yeah.
Those are 2 of the least popular roles in solo queue.
Are they really?
Yes. I think support is less popular than Baron lane,
Yeah.
but jungle is absolutely the least popular.
Yeah, and it's so surprising because when I queue up for it, I get all the time, but I just figured that, you know, I was lucky. That,
No, you are doing a thankless job. Nobody wants to play jungle, and this tournament is proof that if you want to climb, getting really good at jungle is the way to do it, because you have so much influence over the game.
Yeah.
And we've seen a variety of jungle tactics here. There are the junglers that are taking over the game, that are playing like Long, that are getting as big as possible and finding all the kills. And then we have the junglers that I think are more consistent to play as. I like this style more because I play lanes. Which is, I'm going to visit the lanes, I'm going to win the fights for my laners, and that's going to spread out the gold, which puts less pressure on you to individually carry, more pressure on the lanes to win.
Using your pressure and influence to snowball your lanes versus taking the kills and the resources for yourself so that you become the ultimate raid boss.
And if we can be a little nerdy, one of the things that we've seen over the course of this tournament is that the way to successfully play that role is to gank the same lane over and over again. Oftentimes I see junglers in my solo queue respond to the enemy's pressure, right? So if the dragon lane is winning on the enemy's dragon laner is winning, you gank the dragon lane, you try to repair that lane. If the top lane is winning, you leave that top lane alone because he's already winning, so you don't need to help him out. But what we have seen repeatedly is if you gank the top laner who is already winning, then first of all, it's an easier gank to get because your top laner does have a gold advantage and can win that fight. But second of all, you are forcing the enemy team to respond. By the gravity of the match, that dragon laner who's already winning, who's doing great, doesn't get to interact with the game as much. He's stuck on the bottom side, just kind of vibing. Like Ellie in this game does have a decent amount of gold in his pocket, does have a gold lead over Cho. You would not know it. He has not been relevant to any of the fights so far because JDG are completely avoiding him.
Yep.
And so that limits how much Team Flash can play through that bottom lane, even though he is doing well.
Honestly, that's great solo queue advice as well for anyone listening at home. If you are trying to come back in a game, play to your strongest members, continue using them to leverage advantages throughout the map, and then whoever is fed on the enemy team, get away from them.
Absolutely. Welcome back to game here at Icons, though. It is game 3 of the series. Team Flash, 1 win away from graduating to the semi-finals, knocking JDG out of the knockout stage. The quarterfinals. So far, JDG have won on the map, finding those picks towards Lemon and Chingdo, but lost in the objective fights. Team Flash looking for more.
Package available from JoJo. It is the second dragon of the game where Team Flash had been able to sneak it before. JDG had a proper response. This time, they're the first ones there.
Yeah, it's a Cloud Drake though, so Team Flash know it's not as worth fighting for. I wouldn't be surprised if they turn for Rift Herald as it spawned. There it is, Zissou immediately on the Rift Herald saying, you can have a Cloud Drake, that's fine by me. Jingdo will try and burn it, the rest of Team Flash will poke. This is the advantage of having a chase.
And Team Flash getting right into their faces, making them pick and prod. It's like, hey, are you going to force this dragon to fight us here? Rift Herald already used as well in the mid lane. It's now forcing JDG's hand. They have to respond, and Shy is making it difficult for them. It's making them uncomfortable. Xingdo already forced to use the stasis as he's deep into the enemy territory. Gone. He has to get out. Mid turret has been taken out. JDG once again on the back foot. They didn't even get the dragon, TJ.
Absolute disaster for JDG. Zissou swoops in, grabs the Rift Herald, grabs the mid turret, and now takes away this dragon on the verge of taking away JDG's tournament lives.
JDG, the early snowball, it's starting to fall apart. Team Flash, they found the appropriate counter responses, and they're the ones accelerating right back in the mid game.
A beautiful game from Team Flash, a beautiful series from them, playing perfectly to their win conditions, understanding the map at every situation. There, they look at the objectives available, and they say, we have Jace, we have Morgana, we can poke, we can slow down this dragon take, and whilst that is happening, we can easily 1v1 that Rift Herald. That's what the Kha'Zix is good at. We can easily take the mid lane, putting additional pressure on JDG, and pulling them away from the dragon.
2 items completed for Lemon. We talked about how he was going to be one of the big carries in these team fights.
Yeah.
Team Flash have already dealt with him. They shut him down early on. The snowball, gone. Xingdo, the only character left on JDG who has the appropriate snowball going for him.
Zissou on a flank here.
Looking for more.
just trying to slow down the retreat here from JDG, find an angle. This is the advantage of how much range they have, the picks they have.
Are they going to close on in? Che has to take the long route around. He does not want to get intercepted by this Morgana.
With the gold they now have, Team Flash can take every fight like this, just poking, prodding, waiting for a mistake.
Oh,
Big
huge
kick.
hit flash from Xingdo. Finds the bug, gets the stasis out. Here comes Che with the Mega Inferno Bomb. Gets a lot of burst damage down Team Flash. They find themselves on the retreat, and Xingdo strikes once again with JoJo.
Mid lane though, Coyote is pushing. He's already found 2 turret plates. He's gonna take the turret in the middle of the map. So it is a 1-kill trade for a turret.
Remarkable stuff from Team Flash, even in the wake of an amazing response from JDG. It is still Coyote maintaining the pressure on the map.
JDG do earn the gold lead during that fight, get a little bit back in their bank accounts, and it comes from the decision-making of Xingdo then. That is, I was talking about how Team Flash are going to play that poke style, prod at you, try and extend that, early team fight phase as much as possible. During that time, what you've got to do is find a pick, land a Sonic Wave onto a Kha'Zix, and instantly execute. That's the theory. If you stay there at this hovering mid-range, it's always going to go bad for you, but if you can find a mark on an isolated target, collapse on them, that's how you take Team Flash apart. So, excellent execution from JDG. Was enough to win them the fight, wasn't enough to win them the trade.
Team Flash still maintaining the pressure thanks to Coyote's efforts. They find themselves once again with the gold lead despite all the early efforts from JDG. Baron is alive for the taking. Team Flash are going to bide their time and continue playing out the long game.
And I did misspeak there. I said JDG had the gold lead. And then I was like, that's wrong. And I just decided to power forward. Because of course, Team Flash with the gold lead after that sequence, now growing to several thousand, that mid-turret. A massive boost to their bank accounts despite losing the kills on the top side. And I believe they even got some damage on that turret, which gave them extra plates, so.
I think it will fall here. Xingdo would have to kick away Coyote.
Oh, good pick.
Or force a pick here. Glacial Fissure stops him in his tracks. Nice stasis from Coyote, blocks it out. Doki, body slam flash, right into the backline. Ellie gets knocked up by the kick. Xingdo! Huge pick, and Ellie's got nowhere else to run. Another kill falls over to JDG. They continue the pressure. Zissou able to answer back on Doki. Shy has to save it. Cyclone onto 2, but Xingdo alongside Che supplies the damage necessary. Lemon will fall, but Shy is still continuing to power on forward. JoJo rounding off the final member of Team Flash. It is now up to Shy. 1v1 between Shy and JoJo, but it is Shy, despite the pressure he received early on in the game, comes through with the prime
gaming
ace for Team Flash.
A huge win for Team Flash in a bloody extended battle that JDG think they could win. Here's your Coca-Cola pop-off replay with 6 HP on this turret. It stands chipping away at the Team Flash members, and for a second it buys space, and JDG are able to win this brawl using the Darius, using the Gragas' frontliners, and the members of Team Flash keep coming in and using their combos so well. The range pressure from Coyote finding a pick as he jumps in with the follow-up assassination on Xingdo's GA. Then he finds another, leaping in again, full combo. And all of a sudden we're in this game state with Coyote down and a 1v1 very likely for the lead in this game going to Shy.
And it is remarkable that Team Flash, through a GA-empowered Xingdo, the person on JDG that had the biggest lead of the game, finally falls to the hands of Team Flash, to the person who was focused by JDG in the early game.
A huge fight for Shy, playing his character perfectly.
Package is forced out of JoJo. Oh, does
Burning.
he burn?
He lives!
Woo! But it is the Elder Dragon on the line here, and Team Flash, they might just
Coyote's
look to win
huge!
the fight and the game off of this one push. Xingdo with a huge kick stops the fight in its tracks, but it's Doki and Lemon gone.
Coyote's huge in these fights, and also watch how much damage is wasted, useless on empty shield. I think that's earned them the Elder.
Yeah, JDG can't get in. Xingdo would have to pull off a
Coyote.
miracle for their tournament lives on the line. They have to get in
Coyote's
through
gone.
the river. Team Flash maintaining it, but it's gone. Elder Dragon has been taken by Team Flash. and JDG are on their last legs in the 1v1 between Zissou. Despite everything that Xingdo did in the early game to get the advantage, he falls to Team Flash. The Vietnamese squad are running the rift.
Coyote promised us a 3-0, and they are just a few team fights away from delivering.
Zissou with the hops. Animation cancel styling on them in the wake. What could be the 3-0 sweep
They're gonna
over
get
JDG.
They're gonna get Baron.
Baron on top of it as well. Doki looking for a miracle play to get something out of nothing. But the Baron has been secured. Everything is taken by Team Flash on this rift.
Double major objectives. The Baron and the Elder in their pocket. Team Flash in prime position with a 5,000 gold lead and a 2-0 lead in this series.
Take a look back at this replay. They see Coyote. They think, we can make this pick work out.
And Jojo goes in, but it takes so long to kill Coyote. Backed up by the Morgana shield, backed up by his own use of barrier, and during that time, Elder is picked up, Zissou spots Xingdo, and now, here come Team Flash for a tournament-shaking win. An upset versus the second best team out of the WRL as they bear down on these inhibitor turrets.
Once again, Zissou just showing us off.
Baron in hand.
With the Baron on his side, Team Flash, they're pushing through every single lane. Bar the bottom lane, they're going through the top side of the map. JDG looking away from danger. They're trying to retreat away, but they cannot get away from this squad. The lone seed from WCS, the only one from the Southeast Asia region to still represent the WCS in its prime. It is Team Flash, as destiny had foretold by Coyote. A 3-0 sweep for Team Flash.
And JDG crumble under the aggression from the previously undefeated Team Flash. Yes, they stumbled versus Nova. No, they did not stay down.
Remarkable. Phenomenal.
3-0!
A 3-0 sweep, TJ!
And it looked easy.
From Team Flash, nonetheless. When Flash Wolves fell, when RRQ fell, the WCS fans looked to their last representative in the tournament in Team Flash, the Vietnamese squad, their lone champion, and they do them proud on the international stage.
What a selfie, a victory selfie that books their ticket to the semi-finals.
And when you look back at Horizon Cup, the shortcomings of SBTC, the Vietnamese fans especially looking with
some
pride. Redemption. SBTC walked so that Team Flash could run.
And they're sprinting through that tunnel in the back of the stage as they clean up this series, deliver what people said couldn't be done. A dominant performance and proof that the WCS can contend with the best league in the world, with the best teams in the world, and beat them.
And full spirits too. Full elation from the squad as well. A momentous victory for Team Flash for the WCS.
But it is only the start of a championship run. They have now booked a ticket to semi-finals next week.
And their opponent is J-Team. And for Team Flash, as we said before, running, sprinting, it's not about how fast you can sprint. It's about the endurance of a potential marathon. We talked about, for WCS fans, Team Flash are the one team that they believe could be a tournament favorite for all the marbles.
Yeah.
And now, first step has been completed. Getting out of quarterfinals, advancing to semifinals.
JDG look kind of bummed. I'm going to be honest, I think you can be proud of that one. They almost made that Game 3 work, and Team Flash, as they continue through this tournament, are going to be contenders. JDG might have lost today, but I think that loss will look even better once Team Flash continue in the tournament.
If Team Flash make it to the grand finals, JDG will only hold their heads high up in esteemed regard.
We beat the Omo curse!
Oh my God!
You've been freed!
Omo did it!
He's been
He
framed!
didn't jinx Team Flash!
I'm not surprised.
Shut up! You were sweating. You were sweating.
You guys, come on, man. Omo's head has been this big. You don't need to continue to pump it on up. This is all about Team Flash here. Great cast on the day, you two. The twins in the suits. But Team Flash, not a 3-2, not a 3-1, but in a convincing 3-0, a resilient 3-0, where all 3 games, they fell behind. And they fought back each time with better hands. You see how much it means to them, how much it means to the WCS region, how much it means to the rest of the world, that it's not quite the shutout yet. The best of the WCS still have their claim to the semifinals and still being one of the best teams in the world.
For sure. I mean, today they beat the 2nd seed from the WRL. That is an insane statement.
There's a lot for Team Flash to be happy about. They've proven themselves now on the international stage against, like you said, the number 2 team coming out of the WRL. TJ said redemption for Vietnam for Team Flash, but I'll do you one better. I think it's vindication for the WCS fans who've been waiting for this moment, who've been waiting for Vietnam to show up on the international stage. Now, finally, Team Flash are here to play, baby.
Yeah, definitely. As we take a look at the highlights from this last one, JDG, very clear composition on what they wanted to do, executed flawlessly on the top side of the map. But this one right here, I think JDG's going to want that one back. The package that went over the wall of the Dragon Pit. Dragon goes on over, and he dies. It then leads to a snowball that allowed Team Flash to show some hands, get into some team fights. Even this one, I kept saying 6 XP on the turret.
Exactly, right? Team Flash, especially when Zissou enters into a fight, at first, when you look at it at a bird's eye view, it's like, this is risky. This seems to be...
This is suicidal.
Exactly, this is suicidal. But at the end of the day, they pull through. Team Flash has been out mechanically,
right here,
just killing
Coyote.
everybody against JDG.
Yeah, the Ziggs bomb, not dying there. It's a dodge instead of getting a kill. Not even the kill gets away, turns around and gets the kill. Huge by Coyote, who consistently was either getting away on 0 HP or trading it out like that when there was no other answer. And then that allowed Zissou on the Kazakhs, who's looked terrible all day. The Kazakhs has looked terrible all day and shown what it's supposed to be played like.
Yeah, and Zissou even pulling off the trademark Vietnamese Kazakhs leapfrog combo to close it off as well. It's so poetic, you know. We've kind of been waiting for this moment the entire time. And if you're thinking about 2 plays that sum up this entire series, it's it's the Zissou dive in top lane, and it's the Coyote Zissou 2v3 turret dive in game 1 that really just sums up this entire series. That sums up Team Flash's new lease on life. It's not even a new lease on life. This is how they were like in the WCS, and it's awesome to see them come back.
Yeah, this is definitely them playing on the wild side, right? This is them. I love it. It's great. It's great.
It absolutely is, and it led to a 3-0, and as everyone has said, we'll reiterate it here on the desk, this is what a whole region, and quite frankly, the whole world has been waiting for their representatives to do. Whether you're in LATAM, whether you're North America, whether you're Europe, you wanted to see a team play full aggression and play it. It doesn't have to be mistake-free, but it has to be with and not like reckless abandon, but somewhere in between.
Yeah.
Not perfect, but not messy. And that's what we saw Team Flash do. It felt like they kept asking JDG questions. Do you have the answer for this split push? Do you have the answer for this team fight? Yes, we'll give you a 3,000 gold lead, but can you execute correctly? Because we'll punish you if you don't. And Team Flash did over and over again this series.
That's the amazing thing about this Team Flash win for me. It's not like they just out-mechanic JDG. It's not like they stomped them in lanes. Consistently throughout the series, they've been playing from behind. They were able to compose themselves and find the keys to win, and that's what sets Team Flash apart.
Yeah, they're super smart at playing
They
the
are.
map, right? The way that they always manage to split the map, and Coyote, guess what? Chunking down a lot of these towers. It's just amazing.
And there's always 2 sides to every story. JDG, part of this dominant WRL Chinese region, the number 2 squad that earned their way on through. They're stunned. First series loss, and like TJ said, it's a matter of inches. In game 1, Coyote getting away a couple times on the Jace. In game 2, think about the Zed escapes, any one of those. And then there in that final game, as we said, Coyote again knocking down the Ziggs, and that could have possibly been a turret, that could have been another objective. Instead, those small mechanical trades, it's like you look back on it, and JDG have a completely different game if they get a kill in any one of those things, because it would have led to more gold, it would have led to an objective, and led to a completely different game state.
You know, this is one of the first few series where we didn't talk about Coyote. We were talking about Ellie, we were Empty, sorry. We were talking about Shy, we were talking about Zissou. Coyote hurt us. He came to play today. He showed up massive. And even though he wasn't as flashy as Zissou, as flashy as Shy, I think he did a bulk of the heavy lifting in that game.
Yeah, he was doing the work. Again, every single time a tower goes down, he did the backdoor thing at game number 1. He delivered, and he showed a lot of his big confidence from the emotes, the 1v1, the swagger, and even the big 3-0 that he showed us.
I think we got a little bit of Foley as well. No, not so empty.
Foley.
We got some Foley.
Yeah.
Empty looks great on all 3 champs that he played. The Rakan engages in game number 2. Again, you think about it, every time it was an early gold lead by JDG, the biggest gold lead in that game 3, but in game 1, it was some sort of engage there by Coyote and by Empty, and then Ellie following up with the Lux. In game 2, it was the Rakan engages. Here in game 3, I think Coyote led it, but it was finding the way to be resilient. Finding a way to be resilient here.
And it's crazy, too. Like, we talk about resilience when this was a 3-0. This wasn't a game that took us to game 5s.
Nope.
This is them being super confident, knowing what to do, knowing where to attack and how to defeat JDG.
And although picking scaling compositions, not just sitting back and waiting.
Yeah.
They still scrapped and fought in those first 10 minutes that we haven't seen from either teams that are already eliminated and try to play scaling compositions, or some of the teams that are currently in the semifinals and played those compositions where they're like, okay, we'll sit back and scale. You'll just trip on yourself. And teams did, quite frankly.
And this is why coming to the tournament, coming to Icons, we said that Team Flash was the team best equipped with a set of tools to take down the WRL teams. They've got the mechanics, they've got the brains, they've got the champion pools, they know how to play aggressive, when to play aggressive, when to scale. They've got it all.
Everything.
And they finally showed it today.
All right, and that's the number 2 squad. I mean, think, you know, if you're J-Team, if you're Nova, it's like, okay, that was our number 2. Even if you're FPX, you're like...
Yeah.
Let me just tell you right now, there will not be a rematch between Team Flash and Nova because Team Flash will face off against FPX in the grand finals. Calling it right now. Let's go.
All right. Is that the Omo curse too? Is the Omo curse broken?
Yeah, that's the curse.
It's
Yeah, no,
gone.
that's the curse.
Oh,
that one is
okay.
definitely the curse. 100%.
Yeah, that's going to be a great one as we take a look at the updated bracket here in just a second, because we've got ourselves a great series now on our hands. J-Team and Team Flash on the bottom side as both teams qualify today in the final quarterfinals. As it's an upset. It's not. We're going to say it's a global upset here because the WR have been so dang good. And JDG as well have been so dang good. And then, as we know, on the opposite side, Nova Esports and Fun Plus Phoenix, the battle of number 1 versus number 3 in the most dominant region in Wild Rift.
That's going to be a very exciting one for sure. Nova against FPX, there's a lot to look out for. The jungle matchup, the
Oh,
mid matchup, even the Baron lane matchup, I think it's going to be huge. But I think all eyes will be on the J-Team versus Team Flash matchup.
It's going to be very exciting because we now know that Team Flash has this confidence, has this momentum. 3-0ing JDG, a team from the WRL. It's looking good. It's
Going to
looking
be
good.
very surprised to see how well Coyote's mechanics in the side lane keep up against a lane-focused team that we've talked about here in J-Team, who tried very hard not to show too much in the
Exactly. It was a
Like, all right, we'll run that
lot
exact
of
opposition again, sure.
Yeah, it was a lot of Barry and DUI action. So I feel like the dynamics is going to change a lot because talked about Ellie and MT always propelling the rest of the 3 members of Team Flash. That may change in the upcoming match.
As well as us in our pregame hyping up the solo lanes of Pan and of Dawn.
Yeah.
They weren't called upon too much
It's
in
gonna
that
be hype.
game. It was like, hey, you're going to be on tank duty, okay. You're going to go ahead and play Singed, okay. Whereas Coyote, he got to play a lot of fun champs.
Yeah.
Show me some Zed, show me some Jace, rolling there with a bunch of different things. Shen duty on the top side of the map for Shy, but he was able to pull out a couple different champions as
It
well.
was very clean. But honestly, the highlight for me, I would love to see the gloves come off when Coyote plays up against Pan. I think that's going to be the big highlight matchup. I think it's going to be so hyped. Both of them play Lucian as well. I think that's going to be a very contested pick. Let's see how it goes.
And the fact there's so many things that we haven't seen yet, right? Like, we know Coyote to be the type that plays a lot of top lane picks, a lot of jungle picks, bringing it to the mid lane. We're talking about Darius mid. We're talking about Ashe that has been constantly banned by JDG. And as well as Camille mid that we haven't seen just yet in the Icons.
Yeah, and when we think about this specific series, we wouldn't call JDG's draft the standard Chinese meta that we've seen from the WRL squads, where it was like, okay, let's get a tank in the mid lane, let's go ahead and play the Singe, let's play.
So wave clear at the bot lane.
Wave clear in the bot lane. We didn't see that. They opted in with this Karma because they're like, oh, the power picks up, we're gonna put it in the mid lane, let's see what JDG does. Didn't quite work out in games 1 and 2, where they ran it back, and like we said, it was a close draft. So you're getting a stylistic difference in J Team compared to JDG and what we think they will draft if they're playing alongside the WRL meta.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of cool things to look out for in that matchup, especially in terms of how both teams read the meta. I think Team Flash are going to double down their jungler because that's something you can identify as edge you have over J Team, right? You can bet on Zissou to do well against Cherry. But on the other hand, Barry and DY going up against MT and Ellie, I'm not exactly hyped for that one, yeah.
Honestly, I feel like, looking at that matchup, you can't help but play on the defense against Cherry and Barry and DY, right? Yeah. But when I look at the jungle matchup, it's the complete opposite of Xingdo and Cherry, right? Cherry sets up for the team. He loves his Wukong so much just to make sure they get those Cyclones, get that big team fight, and it's going to be a big difference versus Zissou.
Yep.
Zissou's back.
He's back,
here to play.
All right.
He's awake.
He is awake, and again, showing off that Kha'Zix that now is something that J Team are going to have to think about.
Yeah, speaking of the Kha'Zix, right, that was the game-ending pick, the series-ending pick that Zissou picked up, which, just as you said, didn't do so well in this particular series in Xingdo's hands. And it's just so poetic that he's able to utilize the Kha'Zix and say, hey, I'm pretty good at this champion, too.
Even before in Cookie's hands for Flash Wolves, obviously we're talking two different teams, but it didn't feel like they were... Cookie was able to play it as aggressively against J Team. So kind of wondering, is J Team's leads that we presume they will get on the bottom side of the map with Barry and DY going to be too big? Because I go back to the Draven game, right, where Barry shows off Draven. They get a couple early Adoration stack kills. The Draven starts accelerating. But in my head, I'm like, okay, you have Kha'Zix. You could still isolate him and kill him off a little bit later on. But never did we see creative route pathing coming from Cookie to try to get those assassinations. I always felt a little front to back. I'm using void spikes more rather than trying to find a flank and get in, use the flash offensively that way. Whereas we saw Zissou a couple times, both on the Jax and the Kha'Zix, be willing to just trade his HP like a resource, go in first, take all the damage, and then stasis to burn the cooldowns and allow the rest of the team come in.
Team Flash love the chaos. They're born in the chaos, molded in the chaos. That is the WCS Vietnam, and this fits their style perfectly. Kha'Zix is a great pick for that. You got to play it to your strengths, and Team Flash have identified what their strengths are going to be for the rest of Icons.
I think the biggest challenge is going to be the difference in playstyle for J Team, right? Like, we've identified JDG as 4 supports, 1 big carry, which is Xingdo. But for J Team, they can swap around who wants to be the carry. So I feel like there's a lot of adjustments in a BO5 series on who to target. It's not going to be a blanket. Every single game, it's always about Xingdo.
But the question will be, because we saw hesitancy in J Team to do it because they were willing to play the same draft. We saw JDG opt into the same draft game 1 and 2. Will J Team be nimble enough to change their draft? We know that they can. There's been multiple different MVPs on that squad, but that comes from like a coaching decision and a strategic decision that the team decide on coming into the series.
That's the thing that stings about losing these run-back games, right? If you win the run-back game, that's a huge mental boost.
You look like a genius.
You look like a genius, but a lot of the times, these top-tier teams will fall into the trap where they think, if the best team in the world plays this draft again, if FPX plays this draft out, are they going to win? Yes, they're going to win. So let's run it back. Let's do it better this time. And that's very easy to just fall into the trap. You tumble down, and then you just lose all your momentum. 0-2. That's exactly what we saw today.
All right. Well, we will see what happens in a very exciting semifinals as we have Mr. 3-0 himself standing by with Mika for a post-game victorious interview.
Thanks, Digon. Mika Fabs here with Coyote from Team Flash, the first team to take down a squad from the WRL. Coyote, congratulations for this momentous win, a 3-0-2. We have to know, how did you guys hype yourselves up for this match?
Chúc mừng Coyote về một chiến thắng cực kỳ ấn tượng của các bạn đối với một đại diện đến từ WRL. Và Team Flash là đội tuyển đầu tiên có được chiến thắng trước một đại diện đến từ WRL, thì đặc biệt là một chiến thắng 3-0. Thì không biết là các bạn đã có một sự chuẩn bị như thế nào cho cái trận đấu này?
Thì thật ra lúc đầu là trước khi tiến tới vòng playoff, bọn mình đã gặp khá nhiều chuyện ở ngoài vòng bảng và bọn mình đã cố gắng hết sức để mà kiểu nghiên cứu đối thủ là Jin Đông ngày hôm nay, và bọn mình đã luyện tập rất nhiều từ những ngày, và mình cảm thấy rất biết ơn khi hôm nay mọi người đều đánh rất là tốt và hoàn thành đúng mọi điều mình đã đặt ra.
Yes. Before participating in playoff at the group stage, we have so many mistakes and problems with our team. And after that, we try to find out what is it, and we try to fix it before we enter the playoff. And we train so much. And today, I feel really grateful because all my teammates are doing very well. So I just feel really happy.
Congratulations as well. This was amazing. You had this great energy coming in, almost defiant. You had this 3-0 that you were flashing to the camera, and you kept to your promise. So we have to ask, of course, there are a lot of WCS fans out there that are cheering for you guys. All of your co-WCS teams right now, do you have a message to all of them?
Sorry, can you...
Do you have a message to all of the
Yes.
WCS fans and your co-teams,
Yes.
that have now since been out of the tournament?
Ok. Trước cái camera thì bạn đã có một cái hành động dự đoán rất là quyết liệt, là bạn đã đưa tay và khẳng định là Team Flash sẽ chiến thắng 3-0, và bạn đã thực hiện được cái điều đó. Thì không biết hiện tại thì cảm giác của bạn như thế nào, và bạn có lời nào để có thể chia sẻ tới các fan đang theo dõi bạn, đặc biệt là các fan đến từ khu vực WCS Việt Nam?
Thật sự thì lúc đó em cảm thấy khá là tự tin, và em nghĩ là kết quả sẽ 3-0 và chúng em đã làm được điều đó. Còn em nghĩ em cảm ơn tất cả các bạn khán giả đang theo dõi từ WCS, và bọn em sẽ cố gắng hết sức để chứng minh cho cả thế giới thấy là WCS không phải là một khu vực yếu.
Yes. In front of the camera, I do the prediction 3-0, and at that time, I felt that we can do it. So, luckily, we really can make it happen. And right now, I feel really happy. And what I want to say is, thank you everyone for the support to my team, especially the audience from WCS VN. Yeah.
And last but not least, how are you feeling about your next match against J Team?
Và điều cuối cùng cũng là điều quan trọng nhất, bạn cảm thấy như thế nào về trận đấu tiếp theo của bạn sẽ phải đối đầu với J Team?
Thì theo mình nghĩ thì khu vực WIL rất là mạnh, và mình đã vượt qua một đối thủ rồi, và bọn mình sẽ cố gắng hết sức để giành quyền chơi trong trận chung kết.
Yes. Personally, I think that WRL is the strong reason, and we will try our best to make it to finals.
Well, we're hoping the best
Yes.
for Team Flash and for you, Coyote. Thank you so much, and thank you so much, Tui, for translating. WCS is alive, and the Omo curse is not real, ladies and gentlemen. Back to you guys on the analyst desk.
And there you have it. The big 3-0. Boop, 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 boop. All right, yeah, we got it, basically. Yeah, ready? Yeah, let's do it. Ready on three. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Boop, 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 boop.
We're doing it
boop,
all wrong.
boop. Oh, my
We are
God.
cheating.
The big 3-0 there, and thank you to Coyote, thank you to Mika, thank you for the translation. Again, huge victory here for Team Flash. You saw how much it meant to him, and you could feel the energy, like going through him.
Yeah. And the craziest thing is that we'll rewind back to the WCS finals when we interviewed Team Flash when they won, and we asked them to rank themselves in icons, and they said top 4.
All right.
Look where they are.
That's accomplished. Everything else now is house money. We'll see what Team Flash are able to do with that. We'll be off for a few days, but Icons 2022 continues on Tuesday, July 5th, with our first semifinals match. You can see it right there at PX versus Nova and JT versus the newest entrant, Team Flash. You'll see a WRL showdown, FunPlus Phoenix versus number 3 seed Nova. And then on Wednesday, the day after, J-Team versus Team Flash. It's going to be a good one. Hey, y'all, it's been a heck of a day of Wild Rift. Icons has its first major upset. History is made as one of the WRL teams falls. Let's see what history will be made in the semifinals. On behalf of myself, the Analyst desk, and the entire live broadcast crew, we thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on, we'll see you for the semifinals.
Tuesday!
For the semifinals.
Woo!
Hit 'em where it hurts 'em. Can't stop the rain. Let the money burn, feed the fame. We don't give a damn about it. I'm an outlaw, cooler than the West Coast. I'm a young gun looking for a smoke show. Quick to draw and I shoot to kill. Do it all for the thrill of it. Pretty eye coming from the other side looking for sin.